maybe I misinformed him, but okay, in Smash Brothers, which little Link came out first? Was it Toon Link or Young Link?
Young Link.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. Because they were saying that Toon Link was the original one, and then the Young Link was like an afterwards. And I'm like, no.
And that's
Did you play Melee? I think he came out there first.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't misinform
You
the
schooled
kid.
him, Frank. Attaboy, Frank.
You
taught that kid a lesson.
You gotta teach him when they're young.
You were coaching on the field, and they were coaching off the field. Coaching everywhere you go,
This was
Frank.
the most important coaching I did.
Okay, so welcome to Taco Otaku. My name is Ivan. I'll be the host today. And to my left is Miles. In front of me, I have Frank. And to my right, I have Ray.
Yo.
Hey.
Hello.
So today, we will be going over our weeklies. And then, secondly, we're going to review Insomniacs after
Cool.
school. I was going to say after dark. Something like that.
I thought about that several times. I won't lie.
And second, Oshi no Ko. So those are the two animes that one of them I picked, which was Oshi no Ko, and Ray picked Insomniacs After School. Then after that, we're gonna do our draft. So we're gonna pick our summer animes. We're gonna each choose 3 animes that we're gonna watch and review, 3 episodes, and then we'll choose our choice for the summer and the anime that we all have to watch. And then once again, we'll review them.
Sounds fun.
Okay, so once again, as I mentioned, I will start off with our weeklies. So the one thing I want to tell Frank that I did it. I finally did it.
You did it.
I got to episode 45, 42 of One Piece.
Oh,
Wow.
So I did like 15, 12 episodes.
it was a lot because you were like at 30.
Yeah, so I basically started watching Nami's backstory.
Ah.
Yeah, so I did it. So I wanted to give him as a surprise because he's like, "You're not gonna do it." I'm like, "I'm gonna do it."
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do it, and it got good. It got good. It got good.
It took a while.
Yeah, it got some good moments in there, and so I'm like, "Oh, this is cool."
Did you finish that arc?
No, I'm.
You're still in the middle of it.
They're in the main fight between Luffy
Ah.
and the Arlong.
Arlong.
Yeah. So the only thing I'll say is that it definitely has like that old school anime 90s that it really knows how to take its time. So I mean, like when they're walking, I'll like kind of speed it up. I'm like, okay, I think I can speed it up right here. They're just walking, nothing happened right here.
Yeah, just
so.
put it like 1.5 times or 2 times. Like, okay.
Luffy, remember that time I told you about this? Let's all think about that time. It'll take 5 minutes.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. And then I also want to throw this in there. It's almost not related to the podcast, but we also watched Never Have I Ever. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that show on Netflix.
Is that a game?
It's a Netflix show.
Okay, I was gonna say Dust also is the game, correct?
Yeah, so it's I think last podcast we talked about family. You know how some stories really don't involve family, and this is like a Gen Z type of show, but it had like
That's the kiddies, right?
Yeah, new kids these days.
Gen Z. I don't. These
Yes.
kids, all these terms. I'm like, I'm too old. I don't have time to keep up with all this
Yeah.
nonsense.
Gen Z is after 2000s.
The little babies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we would be considered millennials.
We're old. I'm old.
Yeah.
This is all I know.
But yeah, so that's the only reason I wanted to bring it up because it was it's 4 seasons and this was a series finale and the whole show had this like family theme throughout the whole thing. So and I think they kind of wrapped that up really nicely, and I thought of you, Ray, and I'm like, I know you probably wouldn't like the show,
I hate everything. This is true.
but I think that element they kept it in there, so I thought of you. I'm like, hey, maybe this is a show that maybe in the future, if you ever consider it, you might watch it and you might enjoy it. But it definitely has like that teenage Gen Z with the terms, so it's.
So I can watch everything just fly over my head.
I don't know. You
or
just
take,
have to
or
try.
take notes and get. Do we know what the kids talk like now these days?
Are they TikToking? Are they all Giga Chads? And what is the lingo the kids use?
Is it still the bomb? That's what I want to know.
Is it hip?
Does
Do cool kids like it?
I don't know. Does anyone ever still say the bomb?
I think that's his point.
Yeah. So, and then last thing I did this week was
Wait, back. What is this thing? You just said the name of it. It's on Netflix. What kind is it? I thought it was a game show.
No, it's a TV series.
Like a drama?
I guess, yeah.
Or is it like a sitcom?
Like a drama.
Okay.
Like a comedy. No, I wouldn't call it a drama. I'll call it like a comedy.
Okay.
So it's called Never Have I Ever, and it's basically the premise is that the main girl's dad dies. So and then
sounds like an anime.
Yeah. So she's like, going through the motions, and like, so basically it's 4 seasons, and I really like the way they kept like that family element throughout like the whole show. So, but of course, it has everything else, which is like the friends, the drinking, like it's a
they go together, friends and drinking.
Yeah.
So just like an anime. It sounds like an anime.
But I guess what I really liked about it too was like it just like those our generation of like how they're making shows, they add like all that indie influence for like the music. So like the show, like one of the last songs they played in it was Slow Dive, one of my favorite bands, and it's so it has like all those elements in there. So I thought it was a really nice show. So if anyone's ever interested watching Never Have I Ever.
And I just feel older now, so thanks for that.
Hopefully I'm saying the name right though. Never have I
I'll have to Google it and let the description.
The kids will let you know next podcast if you said it right or not.
Yeah, so that was, and one last thing I did for my week was my friend has been watching Berserk, and he tells me where he's at.
Wait. Most important question: which Berserk?
The 97 anime.
Oh, thank God. Okay, good. I have to ask.
So he'll tell me where he's at, and I'll go like turn on the episode and watch it, and I'm like, oh yes. I'm like, but I just want to say this, like the animation is beautiful, and it's like so depressing that like some of these newer animes, it's like almost 25 years since 97.
It's been a long time, my friend.
And the fact that this old anime still looks a lot better, I think there's something wrong there. So
I'm gonna help you out here, Ivan. I'm gonna steal the soundboard from you for a sec.
Is this from Berserk?
Indeed it is.
Yes. So you need to watch it, Frank. This is another one to add it to your list, add it to your homework, because I am surprised like how good it still holds up. Like, of course it's missing a lot of parts from the manga, but it still holds up really well for like its age. And I'm very you know how we always talk about, do you recommend it, do you not recommend it? And that's like me, like, yes, I recommend it, like no questions, no drew a blank.
Bum.
About your week? Something you did? Or
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember. Like
it's gone forever.
I just thought of the song, it was playing.
Now just the whole song's playing in your head now.
And then like all my memories were just.
Thanks, Ray.
There it is. Now just gonna be playing the rest of the day in his head.
That's Ivan's thoughts right now. Going to
just
the
it's
sky.
gone. Just waving goodbye. Goodbye.
And Ivan's looking at it like this. Like he looks up as much as this.
Griffin.
The episode that my friend was on when Casca was telling her backstory. You remember, Ray?
Oh.
Yeah, when they get separated from like
right.
everyone, and she's saying her backstory, and like he's so poetic, like the way he like his dialogue, like how the characters express themselves. So I said it when we picked our favorite animes. It still holds up as my number one.
Still looking good.
Yeah. And Gut's still my favorite character, and he has everything that I like in the main character. So yeah, that's my week. So I guess next I'll go to my left, which is Miles.
Hi, me again.
Hey, Miles.
All I did this week was play more Zelda.
Yes.
I guess I did what Ray did, and I'm doing the amiibo hunting now. To get all the costumes, things like that, because I can. I finished for the most part. All I do is go to the castle, do the whole, save the princess. You always do in every Zelda game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically, I guess, now exploring the depths because I got like the miner's costume now. So I guess you could see more inside, on the ground and stuff, and kind of like, I can't go up this wall. It is tricky because there's a lot of gloom in there, and if you don't have like the gloom resistance set, which I have, it's very hard to go in like. Unless you have a lot of hearts, because like every time you lose, you always lose hearts when you go into gloom and
right.
Depths.
The funny part is I never had that thing.
Yeah, because you told me about the pose. You were like, what?
Who?
Wait, what? Yeah, the statue you talked about. And Ray gave me a look like you mean that thing talks?
Just dodge him.
Yeah.
It's worked my whole time.
There you go. Yeah.
Dodge the mountain.
Raise mountain.
Just dodge the gloom, dodge the bosses, dodge Ganondorf. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just keep running. Just keep running.
Gotta go fast.
So I am disappointed. I think Ray probably mentions eventually, but the Master Sword still has the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, oh, I'm sorry. I ran the Master Sword to revitalize for whatever years we are, ran out of power.
All out of juice. Bad low batteries.
And it's like, I'm sorry. The sword says, nah, I'm gonna just leave here for 10 minutes. Like, give me, how does the Master Sword? All powerful Master Sword. No, I just can't do it. I just can't.
I'm gonna take a nap. I'll be back.
And it's like, so what's the point? Like, I guess I understand to a point because, like, obviously
it breaks the game.
But 10 minutes, like 3 minutes or something like I don't know. I guess maybe made a DLC because I know there was DLC for Breath of the Wild, which I think they changed in Master Sword how it works. Maybe that does something.
Huh.
Now that's kind of a bummer still that we still have that problem because it's like I'm in the depths. The sword glows.
Right.
In the depths, and it's like, maybe you're like, I'm gonna just break right now. See you later.
It's hard to believe. It sucked back then, and it sucks even more now.
And I consider I built a house. There's the Link's house you can build.
You could build a house.
Yeah, you can build a house, but now it's all modular. So you have using your weird hand, right? You could now
weird hand.
You could.
It is a weird hand, I suppose.
You buy parts of a house and you put it together. So it's like a whole construction.
Did you do this, Frank?
No.
Okay, well, this is not just me.
Yeah, it's the same because it was in Breath of the Wild. Like if you buy certain plot land from Tari Town.
Oh,
yeah.
I vaguely remember that from Breath of the Wild.
I passed through there, but I was like, nah.
Yeah, basically, by the time I got there, I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna fight Ganondorf. Bye.
Yeah, because I had enough money because I found a lot of diamonds. So it's like, you know what? Shoot, why not? I'll buy a house.
How long is this game?
Oh, forever if you want it to be.
It's a lot. You can play this game for a good year.
Hundreds, maybe 200.
If you want to get everything, or you just I'm just gonna just do this here, do this there. You could. It's a pretty big, a stupidly big amount of game in there. But I think like Ray and probably Frank are at this point I'm done. I'm out. But I think Ray, didn't you finish? Well, I guess I don't know if you finished the game yet or not. Yeah.
Spoilers. It's not even my week yet.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? Does the person get saved? No, real shock, right?
I know.
Well, other than that, that's all I've been doing. Other than because also the homework course that we do this week, but that's all I've been doing. Is just going depth hunting.
What?
Depths.
Depths.
Depths. Other than depths, I'm slowly chipping at it. I did get the Master Sword. I did got the healing shield. So I'm ready to go beat him in time. But he's like, I'm just gonna keep going exploring, and I'm just taking my time with it, I guess, because I don't know if this week or next week, I think the Story of Seasons, the remake of A Wonderful Life comes out, or maybe it came out.
I'm very tempted. I think it is around, and I do want to play it, but also I'm terrified.
That's also another game that takes a lot of your life.
That'll take your life away as well.
And you forgot what day is it? I don't know, but the cow's got to get milked.
My favorite part.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my week.
So you said you found the shield?
Yeah.
Oh, where was that?
Wait, you didn't find the shield?
No.
In all fairness, I did cheat a little. I found out the general area of where it was because I couldn't find it.
Yeah, in my case, I figured it's probably the same place that it was last time.
Oh, see, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, because I know last time. Well,
spoilers.
It's the same place.
Spoiler warning.
It's the same place. It's the same place. Roughly the same.
Oh, really?
Okay.
So it's like yeah, here it is. Yeah. So anyway, that's in my week.
Okay, so next is Frank.
Well, I didn't do much besides the homework because I had a busy week. But I did want to talk a little bit about Zelda, even though it wasn't technically part of my.
Okay.
Like an extension, time extension.
Oh, it's because something funny kind of happened. So I was at the park yesterday coaching, and I was kind of I was done, so I was watching another team play, and I heard somebody say Zelda, and I like my ears perked up. My ears perked up. It's like, which one?
Became like Elvis ears.
Yeah,
Zelda.
And I just kind of scoot over. Which one did you play? And then he was like, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, cool. Where are you? Did you leave the Sky Island yet? And he was like, you can leave the Sky Island. What? Spoilers. I'm like, my bad. I'm like, but it's in the trailer. I'm like, I don't watch trailers.
I don't want trailer.
He was serious too. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Damn.
So we ended up talking about Zelda for a while, and then
Can you leave the island right away, or?
It takes a minute.
it takes like 3 hours back there.
Yeah, because the previous game did a similar idea where like you have to stay on here. Okay, cool. Now you understand the mechanics of the game. Here's the actual world map, and it's like something stupid, right?
Yeah, it's a stupidly big map.
Yeah. So he was like, I thought it was the whole world. And I was like, yeah.
Babies, they're cute.
Yeah. So I was just, talking about different Zelda games with that kid, and it was cool. It was cool.
And it's like, what's a Game Boy? What is it?
and maybe I misinformed him, but okay, in Smash Brothers, which little Link came out first? Was it Toon Link or Young Link?
Young Link.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, I thought so, because they were saying that Toon Link was the original one, and then the Young Link was like an afterward. And I'm like, no.
And that's
Did you play Melee? I think he came out there first.
Yeah.
And then, because we're like, yeah, Toon Link came out in Brawl, and then Young Link came out in Ultimate, I think he said.
Children.
So I'm glad I didn't misinform
You
the
schooled
kid.
him, Frank. Attaboy, Frank.
You
taught that kid a lesson.
You gotta teach them when they're young.
You were coaching on the field, and they were coaching off the field. Coaching everywhere you go,
This was
Frank.
the most important coaching I did.
There's coaching or just life coaching?
Coach, I scored. That's great. Okay, now in Zelda and the Super Nintendo.
This is knowledge he's going to need and use for the rest of his life.
Exactly.
I don't know if this is real or not, but I saw a VR of like putting the 64 game, like
The cartridge?
and then like turning it on and playing 007 like in VR, and I thought that was so funny. Like
It's possible to do.
but it's like back in the days,
Right.
what people used to have to do now. Like there's like doing it VR, so
You just download. Now you gotta get the cartridge, blow up the cartridge, give it a shake, a wiggle. The cables in the back of the TV are little. Just gotta give them the jingle jangle.
Oh, I'm sorry. The skills get a little iffy. You gotta move the cable around. So
The antenna input. Got to play with the rabbit ears. There it is. I think we got something now.
Oh, do you have the RF modulator? You put it in the back, so that way you can.
Oh my God, the RF signal.
I remember when DVDs came out, and I was like blown away.
It was whoa.
Yeah, I was blown away, and I think one of the first DVDs I bought was Cowboy Bebop. I still have it. I decided to never get rid of it. You know how they would sell it like in
the 4 Oh my God.
But I decided
$30 for 4 episodes of an anime. Think about that, kids. You kids with your little crunchy rolls and your high dives. You don't know the pain.
Wait, you buy anime? You could buy anime?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, $30 for 3 episodes.
It's insane.
So how much was the series then? Like 150?
Yeah.
200?
Yeah. Assuming you were lucky enough, you could find all the discs.
Yeah.
Because half the time, like the Best Buys or the best place I knew growing up to find anime was Fry's Electronics, which is dead now. So who even gets this reference?
Oh.
I still remember the times when me and Ray were trying to get the Dragon Ball Z tapes. We were trying to get the.
Oh, we used to the warehouse deals. Yeah, because they would sell because normally those would sell for like $20, $25, but if you bought them at the warehouse, they were like $10 a pop. And so we would just stack up the season, and we knew what shit was happening months before they aired on Toonami.
We got a preview before. Like, oh yeah, I see this already, but yeah.
I didn't know they released it before they aired it.
Gotta be the cool kids. See, kids, a VCR is think of DVDs, but a lot shittier and a lot complicated.
And then you got to rewind it after you're done. You got to rewind it back.
Be kind, please rewind.
Well,
sorry, had to date ourselves apparently.
Yeah. Just a quick update on Octopath Traveler.
I'm
at the end game.
now.
Yeah. I know this because I was trying to do something. It's like, hey, are you sure you don't want to do more quests? Because you can't.
Might be your last chance.
You can't come back from it. So I ended up saying, yeah, screw it. I don't want to talk too much about it, but basically, this game fixes everything I hoped they fixed. Like, they actually went out of their way to make all the stories connect. Where in the first one they didn't connect, or at least I didn't see any connection. I think the way it all connects in the first one is side quests, but not the main stories.
Right.
Because in the main stories they hint of a greater enemy, and then they actually have a scene where they're all talking to each other. I don't think they talk much to each other in the first one. I don't know if I haven't seen. No,
I was about to say that I didn't think it was one of my complaints, but it's something I definitely noticed playing Octopath. So I was playing them, these characters, felt very individual. It almost felt like it didn't even matter that they're together. They kind of have those little when they talk, when you can let them talk, that's like as much interaction as they have with each other. But like each story is like their own story, and like it's almost like if they're by themselves.
Yeah.
So even though like supposedly they're traveling together, it never felt like they're traveling together. But to me, it didn't really bother me. But I think that, like how you're mentioning how they're adding them all together, I think that's really cool. Because I wouldn't say it was a complaint, but it's definitely noticeable in the first one that you're like, hey, like does it even matter that like these characters don't interact with each other? It's like 8 different stories. You can play them, but their stories just have nothing to do with each other.
Do they talk to each other in battle in the first one? Or?
No.
This one I mentioned it before. They're like, hey, good job, Hikari, or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, they don't do that. And then the most you get from them interacting is like when you're like in a chapter, and then you know how you can kind of click for
you press start or the plus sign.
Yeah, but even that's random. It doesn't do it all the time.
Yeah.
So like you have no control over it.
Yeah, and this one they have a really nice scene at the end. Like it's cool. Like it kind of shows everyone's personality, and I feel really good about who I picked, the warrior, because I feel like he's the leader. A bit of a spoiler, like it's just one line that he says, like, because they're kind of like done, and they're talking about what they're gonna do, and then something happens that they're like, oh, we're not done yet, and the warrior goes like, it's not time to sheath my sword yet. So it's just like, I thought that was cool. He said that, like, everybody's talking so much, and then like everything he says, like, it's not time to sheath my sword. Let's go. So that was cool. And I did accidentally bump into a secret boss, which I don't think I'm gonna.
When it happens.
I'm guessing if you do all the quests, it unlocks, and I went there, and I'm like, oh no, I can't handle this guy.
Oh, I see.
So I don't know if I'm gonna try to beat it, but at least I'm gonna beat the main story, and I'm looking forward to it because it's pretty cool the way they did it. So now that I'm at the final part, they're showing me like a lot of, you could pick up these notes, and it talks about these 2 characters who I kind of know who they are, but they haven't officially revealed it to me. And it's pretty cool that if they are who I think they are, it's cool. I like how they did that, like, because you have no clue throughout the whole game, and then now that you know something's wrong and that somebody was orchestrating everything, it's like, what? It was this guy the whole
plot twist.
So it's pretty cool. I definitely recommend this game to everybody that likes RPGs. It's better than the first one. The only thing I would say that the first one's better at is difficulty. But I think that's a plus nowadays, because I know for me, I don't like to spend a lot of time grinding and all that. So
there's a guy playing Fire Emblem Engage on Maddening.
Yeah.
Just want to recall how many weeks with that was on the podcast.
I know I say a lot of contrary.
Do what I say, not what I do.
Oh, and I did want to apologize to the dancer, saying that her story was boring.
It got better.
Yeah, because the final fight was just one of the best ones, and for me that just like remedies the whole thing for her.
Oh, okay.
Because remember how I told you that every character has a theme and then like a battle theme? Well, I did spoil myself, and and those battle themes are the final fight for each of them. And the one for the dancer is just the best one, because
off the charts.
That one has words and stuff.
Oh, that's, we got real lyrics. Whoa.
Yeah, and then the second one that I liked was Casti, the apothecary. She's so cool. Like she's like the mom of the group. Anyways, I don't want to go on too much. It's just want to say I'm almost done with it. I'm loving every time. I'm loving it more, and I hope more people play it.
I know what game of the year is for Frank already.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh, now I'm more curious.
Well, I just know I like with Slam Dunk, even though I say a lot of bad things about it, it's not really how I feel. Like, I'm saying so many good things about Octopath, I still feel like I loved Engaged. I love Zelda. I loved I think I played.
It's too close to call just yet.
Yeah. No. Let's not go.
It's only July. There's a whole half a year in front of us.
There's still 16 left. Final Fantasy 16.
That's true. That's a good point.
So,
good point there, Frank.
But I will take some time before I play it, because I promised Ivan I'll finish Slam Dunk, and I didn't promise this, but I am gonna finish Berserk after Slam Dunk.
Wow, boy. What's going on here? What is this, like alliance pack we got going on between you two?
Announcements going on.
Yeah,
what do I have to do to get this lock in with Frank?
We're trading anime, so like you watch this one, but you need to watch this one. So another one in my list is.
And he got you to wait. Just one pause was like, and he got you to watch One Piece. You just lost, you just lost big time.
I was thinking, I felt so proud. I'm like, I'm at 5% of the series.
You're like at 1.5 at most.
No, 5%, right? 50 episodes?
Sure. 50, why did you say you're on 30 episodes?
No, it's like around like I'm around.
Oh, 50. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's like 5% of the series.
3% then.
3%. That's progress. That is progress.
Hey, and if you keep it up, it'll stay there. Like
That's a problem. If you off 1 week, it's already going backwards. It's already going backwards, Ivan. Yeah, gotta be careful.
But I also have Ippo in the list too.
Okay, well, so I just say let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to Ippo. That's what I say.
So it's One Piece, Ippo, and then he has to do Slam Dunk, Berserk, and I also want him to do Nagatoro too. So throw that one in there because One Piece is.
I like how that show has nothing to do with those other two at all.
Because we have.
No, it's like this.
Absolutely nothing.
One of these shows is different than the others.
Let's see.
Because we have. Oh, come on. 1,000 episodes. So let me throw something else in there. This is a losing battle for me.
Two of the most influential manga anime seasons of all time, and then the cute high school show with the cute couple comedy romance. Yeah, they're about the same. Berserk, Nagatoro, it's about the same.
It fits.
So just tossing that one in there and then let's do.
Slip it in there, see if he doesn't notice.
Because I know I've been bugging him, like, he's a good character. He's like, I know you told me already. I'm like, he's a good character. Yeah. I know you told me already.
Are you sure though?
Are you the creator of Nagatoro? I didn't know about this, Ivan. Maybe we should pick up the new volume. It comes out next week by chance. Maybe we should pre-order it, maybe.
Yeah, so that's what we've been gambling with animes.
There you go. Ready now?
You bet One Piece, though. I think you lost here, Ivan. I'm sad to say, but no.
I think, he won because of, the wonderful
quality.
experience he's going to enjoy.
Uh-huh. Have they found that treasure yet there, Frank?
Which one?
So many treasures along the way.
And the One Piece is that, what mattered all along was the friends we made along.
Honestly, how else can it end? It's not gonna be like, hey, wow, we found this gold. I guess let's just retire. I guess cool. And then just 50 years of fair, just them swimming in like filthy mansions like that. Can't be how it ends. It's gonna be the worst ending of all time.
I wish.
Is that another gold sword you got? Yeah, sure is, Luffy. You should check it out.
Yeah.
I wish all of you were up to date with One Piece and we actually discussed this. Because I would love to hear what your thoughts are on like.
Sanji's like the best chef. He's like competing with Gordon Ramsay now.
Oh, Gordon Ramsay has no.
He's gotten at that point after the One Piece is no longer.
No. Sanji can like recreate a dish just by smelling it.
There you go. One day we'll get there, Frank.
Yeah, one day.
But the One Piece we can.
Yeah, I'm at 3%, so it's going up.
It's coming. You know what? But I feel like that by next episode I'm gonna be done with Slam Dunk and I can talk about it.
And I don't have 3 more episodes of One Piece.
I think give it like 3 years, maybe 3 years.
Always content
times 10.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
As long as you get to these iconic moments from iconic moments, and because you got to the first one, and then I feel like the next one
episode 200.
That's when it really starts getting good.
The one thing I have noticed though is that the way he writes, he takes his time.
I noticed that after 1,000.
I was gonna say I noticed this since he started in 1999.
You were saying?
Because if you by any chance remember the arc, you know how we always talked about what's that one show, the rain one?
Wolf Rain?
Weathering with You.
Oh, the Shinkai movie.
And you know how there was like the gun. You know. If there's a gun. I
forgot about the gun.
Yeah, you know how the story in writing is like if there's a gun. The gun has to do something in the story.
Right. Yeah. You set that up so early. You got to do something with it.
So like in this arc, one of the guys has like those spinning things, the wind spinning things.
Oh, like a pinwheel?
Yeah.
A windmill,
okay.
The ones you like blow on, those like.
Oh, okay, like the pinwheel. Oh, okay, yeah, get you.
And like it's there, and I'm like noticing it, and it's I don't know, like I'm like. But it's like very noticeable because there's like this guy and he has this spinning thing, and then Luffy's walking and he sees him like that's cool. Literally, that's what he says.
I see.
Yeah, that's what I'm knowing. So I know why.
Man loves his setup.
Or he just likes to draw dumb stuff.
Perhaps.
And then next we have Ray with his week.
Oh yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one done. Octopath, try it.
There you go. So for me, what do I want to talk about first? Zelda, I guess I'll mention real quick, but because I can't get into spoilers. But I did beat it, and it was a better ending than Breath of the Wild. That's true.
Oh, that's good.
So the downside is the last bit is a little like on autopilot, I guess, without getting more descriptive.
Just like Breath of the Wild.
Perhaps, but
I have questions, but I'll wait for you.
Right. But yeah, that's really it, because there was more stuff to do because I saved the Zora for last, and so like that whole area I really didn't explore very well. I did do all of the depths, so I did fill up that map, but that was just more of a thing. Like I was more of like, I remember Frank asking Frank, "Did you do the depths?" He's like, "I did the depths." I'm like, "Fuck, now I have to do the depths. God damn it." So yeah, so I did all the depths, and then I was kind of like, and then like Miles mentioned like, oh, then that little cute little town, and I went there and I went, I don't care, I'm going. Literally, like I was a joker. I would have go fight Ganondorf instead. I'm done. I'm out of this game.
How many hours?
I didn't look up, to be honest. If I had a guess, probably 120-ish.
I think I had about the same amount.
Yeah,
Wow.
that would be my guess. Because when we first came out, I was playing it a lot, but in like the last like 2 weeks to a month, like I barely been touching it, and that's what I told myself, like I just need to finish this game because I'm never gonna finish it. Because it's all the back of my mind was like, oh, I kind of want to do everything. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I'm like, no, I don't. I have other games I want to play and do. So I'm just gonna finish this game and move on. Because at the end of the day, I play most games for the narrative purpose, and I did all the narrative stuff I wanted to do, and it's just time to see the end. Oh, overall, it delivered. It was much better. I guess my problem is I'm kind of like, I'm starting to think maybe Twilight Princess might have the best last final segment, despite it's like stupidly long, but I kind of like that.
I like playing.
Wind Waker's good too.
I like that one.
Maybe Wind Waker might be
Wind
better.
Waker's probably the best version of, that's the one that makes, because narratively in a way how the gameplay works out.
Yeah, Wind Waker, yeah.
I think Wind Waker is kind of like what we were talking earlier before about what in Dragon Ball Z, what the Frieza saga meant. And before Wind Waker, there was no fight like that.
True.
I think that's why.
Yeah, and I forgot, but yeah, Wind Waker probably takes it. So it's one of the better ones. And yeah, it's a really good game. If you like Breath of the Wild, I think Tears of the Kingdom is the better choice between the two, despite they are pretty similar. Yeah, and the mechanics I found interesting. I didn't play a lot with all the building stuff, just like Frank mentioned before on the podcast. But yeah, I think the story was better, and that was an improvement. The inclusion of temples, quotation marks, was better. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but it was closer, so I'll take that as a victory. And yeah, I guess my biggest thing I'm hoping in the future of Zelda games is like, can we just make Link give him a voice? Because if they're going to keep going with everyone has voices and then Link doesn't, it gets more jarring with each game.
Huh? Yeah.
Huh? And it's just him, just like the one animation he has to like talk. Oh, wow, Link, you saw this too? By the way, I broke this game. And I didn't realize, because you mentioned before when I think we had Andy on the podcast, Frank, about like how I broke the game by doing like a big story beat like way too early. With the
remind me. Oh, right now I remember.
That stuff. I did that, and it's funny because the game acknowledges like, wait, you've already done this? So it was kind of funny. I basically broke like the last segment of the game. I broke the game, and like sometimes they design things to know that you broke the game, and sometimes they didn't. So it was kind of fun to see what part the programmers.
Oh yeah, something like that happened to me too. Because actually, I think you're not even supposed to have the Master Sword until after that. Because that one person goes like, "Oh, you have it already."
Yes. Basically, like I had several moments of those basically. So it's funny. But yeah, it's a really good game. It's worth the $70. I know it's the extra $10 tax, but I can sadly get used to it, folks. But it's a good game, and like I said, if you like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom is the same game, if not better. So that's my thoughts.
Just try not to spoil too much.
Right.
In the final part, did you like the music?
Yeah.
Especially when you're falling.
Oh yeah.
Did you notice it's the Ganon thing? That was
the shuffle. It was a good.
I fell twice just to hear it.
Play it again. I think they have that on Spotify, Frank. If you want, make your life a little easier.
No, Spotify makes my life hard with commercials.
Gotta get that premium, Frank. Gotta get that premium. Gotta know that best bud.
Did you like the first fight more?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like they should have reversed them.
Yeah, I kind of think so as well. I think that's why I mentioned Twilight Princess first more, because it's so long, that sequence, and it has a similar kind of stuff happening here. So yeah, I did like that more than the second half for sure. But so that's Zelda. And then next thing I guess I'll talk about a little bit is Demon Slayer. But for that, that is a cold, refreshing beverage I need.
That was a nice sound. I like the pop. I went.
So that's what we go for around here in this podcast.
I think we need to do some Budweiser commercials now.
Today's sponsor is Golden Road. But anyway, so Demon Slayer Season 3 that just came out. I won't get into spoilers because Frank is interested and he hasn't seen it.
Thank you.
But the non-spoiler quick impression.
It's the same.
It's the same, maybe slightly better.
Are you gonna be like that Family Guy that does the weather? It's gonna rain.
Actually, I haven't seen that one.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was refreshing that they shuffled the cards and certain people who've been established in the show kind of went away this season. So that was a good move, I think. And certain developments at the end of the arc was better, hopefully, because one of the most troublesome characters maybe got better. I'll leave it at that. What else can I say? Possibly without spoilers. The animation, I kind of thought the animation wasn't as good as last season. I'll admit that. I don't know if it was the animation or the what actually happens in the sequence of battle, but it was a little disappointing because like I mentioned before, I don't really care about Demon Slayer, but I watch it for the animation, and I felt like the animation wasn't good enough to keep me interested. If this season alone was the driving force behind that motivation.
I probably won't notice that.
Probably not. This man couldn't tell the Rihanna last week with them jumping on the little bunnies, so nothing affects Frank. But yeah, it's fine, I guess. It's I would maybe give it a little bit of a boost upwards compared to last season, but not by much. Oh my
God, I'm shocked.
I know. So, but yeah, I mean, I'll still watch it because we got to defeat Michael Jackson. I have to see Michael Jackson go down.
I have trouble with that because I used to be called Michael Jackson. And so I'm like, he's the good guy. Come on.
He's the worst guy. We must defeat Michael Jackson.
So, what do you give it out of a 5?
Just that season alone?
Yeah.
I guess I'd give it a 3. 3 out of 5. It's fine. It's par of the course. If you like the previous 2 seasons, it's more of the same, basically. Less annoying, so that's a plus for me. That's the highest recommendation I can say about Demon Slayer.
So you hear it here first. It's the best season so far.
Best show of all time, Demon Slayer. 10 out of 10. And then the last quick thing, kind of my week, kind of not my week. My streaming debut, that was something I did.
Oh yeah, how'd it go?
It went all right. I didn't realize how nerve-wracking I would be on my first time, but apparently I was. I was thinking because at first I was like, oh God, please no one find me. Please no one find me on the internet. It's just me. I'm just playing video games, talking to myself. I don't know what I'm doing. It's all right. And then someone showed up. And I'm like, in the inside and screamed. I'm like, oh, hello there, you stranger person on the internet.
Did they talk back?
They did. So here's the thing: is people did come and say hello, and even it was so nice enough to follow me. Thank you for following me. If you were one of those kind people out there on the internet. The thing is, I don't know how much people could have saw me because of my internet connection? ? Because according to Twitch, I only streamed for 30 minutes, despite I was on for more like 2 hours. So I don't know how much people could have saw or seen of me doing my thing, playing the video games on the interwebs. So it's a question mark how that went. And then I went again last night for a little bit, but I was doing terrible. I kind of cut it short because I was choking left and right on the certain Valkyrie Chronicles I don't want to talk about. And thankfully, I don't think that part are Twitch TV, so that's a good plus for me.
What part then, Ray? What part?
Oh, let's just say I did not study the map as well as I should have, and it was embarrassing, won't lie. But that was my 2 streaming events the last week, and I'll be doing that again this week. So if you're curious, you can check me out on Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock and on Friday evening / Saturday mornings at midnight. I might change it up because there's a lot of cutscenes. It's more anime than video game, and it's a lot of watching cutscenes, and I feel very rude talking over cutscenes. So I think I might do something more interactive so I don't feel as guilty chit-chatting all the time.
What else would you do?
One of my options I'm thinking, I don't know about yet, but one of my options I was thinking was playing the Majora's Mask 3DS remake. Because I haven't played the remake version, and I'm kind of curious, but part of me feels like, and also might be boring because I'm trying to remember how that game goes, and I haven't played that game in 20 years. So I don't know. And then plus the 3DS has like the dual screen mode, so that's also kind of a tricky thing to stream.
You should do Final Fantasy 16.
Well, I mean, that would cost money, so that's a big negative at the moment. And then
Wait, to buy the game or
to buy the game. At the moment, money's a little tight, and spending $60 or now it's 7. I think is it 60 or 70? Do you know, Frank?
I don't know. I got the.
Oh, you got the super digital.
Yeah.
Like you just broke all the.
Yeah.
Who do I think I'm? Who am I talking? What am I? Who am I? What am I doing here? This is Frank I'm talking to, Mr. Final Fantasy over here. So that's what I'm doing on the stream, and that was an interesting experience. But hey, if you want to come say hello, check me out over there on Twitch, SD_Shonen. And that's it for my week.
Yeah,
That's cool. I think it's really cool that you started that.
Well, thank you, Frank.
I can imagine how like when someone shows up, that will get you nervous because it's like performing.
Yeah, basically. And like you don't think about, or at least the way I thought was like, oh, it's just me talking to myself in my room, blah blah, like normal. And then all of a sudden, there's someone like, oh, someone's watching, and like you're like, but am I good enough? Am I funny enough? Should I start dancing and singing? What should I do?
I had a similar experience. I was streaming Horizon on my PS4, and then I see that number like 1. I'm like, and I start sucking. I'm like, okay, I swear I was doing better.
That was me last night. I swear I beat this game, kids. I swear I beat this game.
But then that person stayed for like an hour, and I'm like, is he enjoying this? Did he accidentally leave it on? What's going on? Because they wouldn't say nothing.
Went to the bathroom.
You know, but it's true. But like that's why like when I'm kind of going off topic, but like pro athletes, how they have to like really work on those like nerves. Because as soon as the nerves kick in, and your hands are shaking,
right?
Your voice is no longer. So I mean, but yeah,
I might have gotten up an octave that first stream.
Yeah, but as you get more familiar, more comfortable, everything will become smoother. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I just need to figure out the technical difficulties. I gotta work on that this week.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna move on to our next topic, which is reviewing the animes that we picked. So I believe we can start off with Insomniacs After School, and then afterwards we'll do Oshi no Ko. So since we did since Ray chose Insomniacs After School, I think it's fitting that he gives us a brief summary or synopsis.
Either one would work. All right, so Insomniacs After School, this was my choice. I picked it out of the 3 shows after only watching 2 episodes, so it really had an impression on me, obviously. So what is this show about? It is basically a coming-of-age romance high school story, but an actually good one, I would argue. And then spoilers, I guess, in head. So the main protagonist here is Ganta Nakami, and he is suffering from insomnia. I know, and it's hard to believe. I know, shocker. And off the bat, I related that because I too suffer from insomnia pretty often. And so he's a normal high schooler, as I mentioned before, probably. And he's suffering from insomnia. So when he's going to class every day, he can't stay awake and this and that. He's basically falling asleep during class. And he's pretty miserable the whole time because he's like in pain. Like, why can't I fall asleep? I need to fall asleep. So it's like a thing he's been suffering through. But by chance in school, he finds this abandoned clubhouse where no one's around. It's a nice little place to perhaps take a nap. But while he was trying to take a nap in this abandoned astronomy class, he bumps into a girl named Isakai Magari. And turns out, well, it's a surprise for both of them because she too is there for the same exact reasons. And she is also suffering from insomnia and falling asleep at school and was also like, well, this is a great little place to fall asleep. So that's how our 2 main leads stumble on each other by pure chance, suffering through stuff. And so this starts a good conversation with them because you're an insomniac, me too. And so they have a little adventures afterwards, just hanging out late at night since they both know they can't sleep and they're hanging around their hometown. Very cute episode, I would argue. And then from that, they're like, well, we'll just use this abandoned club for ourselves. And it'll be our little secret hideaway. And they do little things to make it their own personal comfort club, if you will. But sadly, that comes to an end pretty much in episode 2 and 3. When one of the teachers finds out they're using this club, what they shouldn't be doing at all. And if you don't know, in Japan, they're very strict about rules. And so they said, you can't do this unless you guys decide to come back and bring back the astronomy club because it's been abandoned for a couple years now, from my understanding of the show. And they agreed to it with the idea of like, well, we can have our own hangout and this and that, and it gives an excuse to hang out late at night. And that is the premise of the show. These 2 start off a club, kind of meet through, their same pain, if you will. And along the way, we get to see their daily lives, what makes them tick. And perhaps a romance blooms between the 2 of them. Whoa. So yeah, that is basically the initial impression and startup of the show. Other thoughts beyond that, I liked Well, I like both leads because both Insomniacs, so that's me. So super relatable. So already off the bat on good start for me. I did like the art style of the show. I thought the character designs. I'm still trying to play. It reminds me a little like a slightly less cartoony version of Miles. What's the name of the baseball people? The guy. He's gonna make several shows. They're basically the same show every time.
The
Cross Game.
Yeah, cross game.
It's like
he does a lot of baseball.
It's like kind of that art style meets like I want to say like Beck. There's like the weirdest collaboration, like minus the super cartoony style and more Beck is kind of what the show makes me think about. It's very old. It feels very 2000s, I guess is the way I would describe it. So I like the art style. The story is very relatable. It feels like it's grounded in reality versus like a lot of comedy romances. They're all like, what world is this in where this situation and this situation is happening? It's too wacky and crazy, but it's very down to earth. Both the opening and ending is also very kind of like lo-fi, soft, and kind of that. Like I said, it's very, in a good, bad way, it kind of puts you to sleep sometimes, perhaps. But maybe that's me. My insomnia is kicking in, and the show makes me feel so good and comfortable that I maybe snooze off. But yeah, the first impressions, it sold me. I thought the pacing was good. The character design I liked a lot. The music, the vibe, just the atmosphere. It had good vibes going on, and I liked it for that reason.
I guess I'll go next as far as my impressions. I think overall, I feel like I enjoyed it. I do feel that I didn't feel excited about it, but I did enjoy it. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
The music, like the opening and the ending, I really enjoyed them, especially the ending theme, which is like basically like an indie song. And
the ending I liked a little bit more for sure.
And that's like my cup of tea right there. So right away I went to go.
I did think when I heard this, I'm like, Ivan's gonna like this song.
Yeah, definitely. So and I like because you're so used to like that J-pop,
it's so different.
So like that was very refreshing. As far as like as I mentioned, like, so I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like super excited to watch it, but I did enjoy it when I was watching it. And I feel like as the story progressed towards like the later half or like the ending, they started revealing more of like the situations, like what they were struggling with, and I did enjoy that part of the series too. So I guess like I'll give it a thumbs up.
To me, I think arguably this show now show Pie is the best shows we've seen so far.
Spoilers already.
Well, I would say because this is like right, this is your typical romance comedy show, right? But arguably because it deals with a part topic such as insomnia, right? It's a thing people deal with, and they're not afraid to tell you, like especially like there's scenes when Gante kind of like when they're asked like just go to sleep. He's like, I can't go to sleep. That's
not how that works.
That's not how that. And he gets very upset when they're not taking him seriously about it. And in fact, they're both of them really, because Saki does the same thing. They both deal with having to be up all night. So what do? We just, hey, you want to hang out? Let's hang out. And and the whole show itself, being in the countryside, it's a very relaxed kind of like.
Yeah, it's not so like busy Tokyo.
And the fact that we're doing photography of like Scott Night Sky, so you're dealing with a lot of. I was surprised we did a lot of camera. We're doing it with cameras, how this ISOs.
Another aspect I can relate to.
But it's like probably one of the few like most like Ray said, a lot of grounded show we had in a bit. Right? You go, this feels like you can make this easy, like kind of like you made a live action, right? I probably mentioned
right. It would be real easy to shoot.
It's like kind of Mason Kaku, right? It's like it's like you could jump this here, there, and everywhere because it's pretty good, overall, the fact that you get the characters as you get further without doing spoilers, you get backstories and that you understand certain aspects of how they think about being dealing with insomnia, and overall you understand perspectives of how people deal with of all the things they deal with their lives.
Life is hard.
So overall, I am surprised how quickly I guess we're done. I guess because it showed pretty much it's. No, there's not really like any really. For me, there's not room for like
no cliffhanger here, perhaps.
Yeah, it's like okay, and I guess we're done. Okay, so but other than that, I highly recommend watching it.
Okay,
Frank. Lastly, your initial impression.
I didn't like.
All right, Frank. That's not happening on the podcast.
I think this one had the same problems I had with Galaxy Next Door, where I was not interested in what was gonna happen. The best parts were, kind of learning about how insomnia affects them.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, I used to think I had insomnia, but I didn't. I just played video games too much, but I messed up my schedule. Cause I
Put down the Game Boy, Frank.
yeah, I was just like playing Maple Story all night, and then it was just, and then one of the teachers tells them, yeah, just work out. You're gonna get tired. I'm like, yeah, that's the solution. Why aren't they doing it? And so I guess
Part of the problem, Frank.
I'm a fake insomniac.
You don't understand my pain.
Yeah, so that part I like. It's just there's something that puts me off about it, like especially early on where she falls asleep and then like very suspicious position, and then she's like has her drool, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like this.
Yeah, I could see that be off-putting.
Thankfully, it like that was like the only thing I've noticed. I do like the guy and the girl. I like how they draw them. It doesn't look too like unrealistic.
Right.
I think maybe this has I was not in the mood to watch it because it was so slow.
It is.
And yeah, it was just like putting me to sleep.
And that's kind of what I mean about like the excitement. It's like one of those shows that
yeah, it's not a page turner.
yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, like I'm into it, but
Mm-hmm.
like if you like sit down and you're watching it, it's like relaxing, but
Right.
like like I can't wait for the next episode. It's not one of those kind of
No,
shows.
it isn't.
Part of it, I kind of feel like I know where it's going, and other part, I'm like, I don't know where it's going, but I'm not interested to see where it's going. So it's just, I don't know. It's like I don't really like the way they interact with each other, the guy and the girl. It's like too perfect for me. It's same thing with the other one. Too perfect.
I would argue a little bit.
I would argue strongly against that, but continue, Frank.
Yeah, it's just like.
Oh well, whenever you're ready, we can jump into spoilers if you like.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something because sadly I did not finish it.
Well, that's a thing.
So maybe I'm missing something very important. But as far as
they were dead the whole time, Frank.
As far as I can tell, right now it's just mediocre.
Yeah, I can, if we can jump into spoilers, and I'll piggyback off of that idea. So and this is a personal bias, so just straight up front. So one of the things like when you do romance, everyone's gonna have like their own opinions, like
right.
What works, what doesn't work. So I feel like there is no right or wrong answer. But one thing that, cause now since we are jumping to spoilers, so I've never been too much of a fan of like the being saved by someone else.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just not like, but I feel like this show wasn't too much like it didn't exaggerate that thought, but it had that element. So
I did.
Yeah. So I think that's the only thing where I think that's what Frank is saying, that where it's a little bit too perfect, where like it's almost like everything is like just clicking.
Right.
So and it goes back into that idea like, oh, like this other person I met is like they're saving me. But I don't think it was enough to like not make it not me like it. So ultimately I feel like it still like did a good job, but it definitely wouldn't be one of the ones where I personally say, oh, I really, really like this. It was more like it was okay. Like that's where I would fall as far as when it comes to like the romance part of it. And I think something else that kind of bothered me about it was that only like the main character, they really dug into his insomniac, like how it was affecting his life. But for her, it was like they say it, but she was always like yippee and like almost like unaffected by it. And him, they did show like those episodes where he was like struggling, to stay up, but she was doing her normal activities, and it was only like I just don't think they really like showed enough of her. So I felt like it almost felt a little bit too convenient. That how he met her, that she was suffering from the same problem, and even though later on in the series they do tell us like what was happening with her and what was happening with him, like you can say, okay, I understand what they're saying, but they still didn't. To me, I feel like they still didn't show enough of her, how it was affecting her life, and it just felt a little bit too convenient for him.
That's what I want to say. Too convenient.
There is a little convenience. There is. It's true. I can't defend that part, but it's I've seen worse, a lot worse, in fact. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the stories have a beginning, middle, and end, especially when it's 12 episodes. So there are some liberties taken here and there to get to a nice A, B, and C point. It's a thing. It happens, but I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
Well, I think is that at this point, I feel like if we're getting close, like we're around like episode 9 and 10. I feel like we're gonna close the series out. Like this is it. You know, I thought we were gonna like may have a moment here and then out. No, well, like is it gonna come back? Who knows, right? But like no, the stories. I feel they cut a lot of it out so that way they could get to the conclusion they wanted. You know, so like a lot of Isaki's dealing with Insomnia, they kind of pretty glance because we don't have time for it. You know,
That's true.
It's like a whole thing, and I want to almost get to a different discussion, so it's like I don't want to jump there just yet. I'll leave the floor open to anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, just to finish up my thoughts, it's not like I was torturing myself watching it. I was watching it and I was like not falling asleep with some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
no blue screens here.
No
blue screens.
No. I think the problem that I had with this is just in my personal life, I was not in the place to watch it. So it has the same problems that, as I mentioned, but it wasn't like as flagrant.
The degree of the punishment.
Yeah, it was, it's not a flagrant 2, it's a flagrant 1. So I mean, that to me made it passable, and I can see how, it's a more enjoyable show. It's just one, I think it's not really my type.
I see.
And like the music, it was not bad. It was just like I prefer, like the typical more upbeat stuff.
Yeah, it's not here.
So,
when I watch the show and when I conclude, I'm like, this is Ray's like because everyone has like a preference,
right, yeah, we definitely do.
So when I finished, I'm like, yeah, I felt like I knew you were gonna like this show.
Yeah, for me, it was just like it's not a must watch, but I feel like it's not a waste of time to watch.
Okay,
that's what I'll say.
Take that. All right, Frank, you're hired. You'll stay on the podcast for another week. Next week, I don't know, but
all right, I get
for now.
Safe for now.
So let's see. What do I want to talk about? So yeah, if it wasn't obvious already from my impressions, I did enjoy the show. I enjoyed it quite a bit, as Ivan would have suggested and thought. And yeah, what can I tell you? Anime, a lot of times they do like all these bombastic, wacky, silly, over the top stuff, and I enjoy that to a certain degree. But when it comes to like romance stuff, I kind of want more like down to earth, serious things that seem believable. And I feel like this story, don't get me, like I mentioned earlier, there's some, little things we do to make it convenient and this and that. But it sure is a lot more realistic I've seen in a long time. I feel like the last time I saw a realistic romance like this was, what was it called? And I talked about it on my channel on YouTube.
I remember.
Suke ga Kirei?
Is that the name?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It was a big old Japanese phrase, and I forget what it translates to. But it's one of those where it's more down to earth, it's realistic. It's these two people that bump into each other, and out of convenience, and most people who fall in love, it's kind of out of convenience. We go to class together, we work at the same job together. That's how you meet people, right?
That's true.
So I liked it. Felt more natural than because a lot of animes, it's always like, 1 in a chance of a million. I walked across the hallway and a girl fell down from the 2nd floor building. It's always something always over the top. And don't get me wrong, those can be good too, but there's so many of those, it gets a little numb for me. So when you see something more down to earth and grounded in reality, it's like, it's so refreshing for me. And this show definitely felt more like one of those.
People fall more often than you think.
a lot of banana peels out there. And if Mario Kart has taught us anything, a lot of banana peels out there.
That's what I was actually telling Frank too. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, like in romance. Like, you know how I chose that other one, the level 99.
Oh, Yamada-kun.
So like I was setting up the premise to Frank that it's like
that, and that's such a good example.
Yeah, that's like exactly of what I think. The only one we don't agree with is Kimidi Toroke, because I actually think that's like as
my biggest problem is the guy. I don't understand him at all.
But as far as like their meeting, because like he was like literally just walking to
right, yeah, the meeting is fine, but the overall feelings and emotions, I'm still but I never finished it. I haven't read the manga, so I don't know these things. But from what I got into the anime, I was still like, but why does he like her?
Oh well, I think that was just, and I don't want to go into the
right. I know, yeah.
No, but it's it kind of goes back almost to like this story, which is like they did do this scene in this show, which is when they kind of like like she like came off the curtain and she did like the whole like and he's like, whoa, you know, with their eyes get big when they see it. So it did kind of have that, but not
to the extreme.
Not like so, but I give it a solid pass.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it was a negative. I'm saying like
right.
Overall, like most shows, they want to convey like they're attracted to each other, and they're trying to do it in a way, but this show did it a lot more subtle.
Yeah, subtle. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's one thing I did. Because that other shows, you're right. Sometimes they're like walking and then the girl falls.
The Yamada-kun's like the best example of every anime romance comedy cliche. And in a one-night chance of a meal, we play this online massive 10 billion people play the game, and we somehow bump into each other in the same cafe.
Well, it reminds me of
like rolling your eyes out of my, or at least mine, out of my socket.
It reminds me of Amigami when like Haruka Senpai's route, what are the chances? That's the one.
That whole relationship makes absolutely no sense in that game.
What a chance! Like 1 in 100 billion chance she bumps in there, like, and it works. You know, it's like no one's buying this. I'm not buying this.
Was the worst choice out of that game.
You're also Transformers movies 2, the Michael Bay ones. That's also 1 in 1,000.
Oh yeah.
No, that's no one's buying.
Everyone wants to be the chosen one. I want to be Luke Skywalker.
I also think they had good chemistry too.
Yeah, that's the thing is they have good chemistry. They bounce off each other. I like their personalities. We understand because it's such a lo-fi, slow-paced show. Don't get me wrong. It can, like I mentioned before. Even sometimes I caught myself a little, but I like it's because there's not that many anime shows like that. So anytime it's different, already it has my attention. And if you stick with it, they make more and more sense. They develop the characters fully. And speaking of which, one note, and it's just thing in so many comedy romance shows, and this is more of a romance than a comedy romance. But there's support. There's like the Krillin characters that we talked about, and like Skip and Loafer and stuff like that. And like there's kind of like that, but not really here. They're a little bit more fleshed out. So anytime we get more fleshed out support, even Kimidodoki does that pretty well. So there you go. There's that. So this show had that. So that's always a big plus. He had one guy friend. There's one guy friend. And
he did.
Yeah, that guy, he existed, and they never existed in these shows, but he did. He beat the odds out. So attaboy guy.
Yeah, my only beef with him was that one time when he was talking about the photo shoot. He's like, yeah, you put photos too, right? Make sure you get good photos right in front of her. There was a conversation they had because they were talking about going to take pictures.
And
then it's like, make sure you get pictures of her too, and she overheard them saying it.
Oh.
And it's like, man, why'd you have to say that?
Right.
Man? And it's like, man, we're talking about you don't do that to your. You'll do it to your boy, man.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But elements like that, there was the little the bromance, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. And it's just funny because they never exist. It's always the sad guy and it becomes a harem. And even they make that joke and later on in the season, oh man, if you weren't here, it'd just be a harem of me and all these girls. So it's refreshing. Thank you.
My favorite part of the whole show was his backstory, his mom story.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's because I just like the way they. If I remember, it was maybe second to the last episode, third to the last, where he kind of started remembering,
right?
About the Starry Sky and all that. So I did enjoy his backstory, a lot. So I that's why I said overall I thought it was a good show.
Yeah. What else did I want to talk about? Perhaps. Support cast. I will admit and I don't know. I wasn't part of the astronomy class in my high school year, so what do I know? I did find it a little funny and weird. They have this giant telescope in that room, and they never used it and really wasn't part of their club activities. They were just out with their Canon camera taking photos. So I thought it was kind of funny. A little weird, kind of how we're using the school
They're
funds.
Not gonna use it,
right? That's what I'm saying. Isn't this $1,000, $10,000 machine, and they never really use it at any point, really, as a story narrative beat or anything?
I feel like it's worth more than 10,000.
Yeah, probably. So it's does it even make it they say in in episode 1 or 2? It's this is a really high end school. Look we got this crazy telescope that no one else in Japan has this telescope, but we got this telescope.
And they never got good enough to use it.
It was kind of jarring. I feel like we should use this a little bit more of the story, but okay.
It's in the opening.
Yeah, they showed more in the opening.
The first thing you see.
It's true. So there's a little parts where you think about it's kind of that's a little silly, I think, but okay.
Something I did want to bring up too. The intro, you know how you talk about Troa when he does that scream or his mouth in the in the Gundam?
Gundam Wing.
So this one also the intro. The main character does a big scream. I'm and so every single time he did that and I saw it, I'm I just couldn't.
It's a little hard not to.
I just thought about Troa
There's our new TikTok. Thank you, Ev. Oh, that's funny. And that's the other thing. Speaking about the opening, a little disappointing. It's just the opening's just the show. It's just the greatest hits of the show.
Well, I mean,
cut together.
Hey, but you know, hey, but we're I do like the fade in, fading out when we're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not terrible, but it's very like, how can we do this and save some money at the same time?
What's up with the cats?
Someone likes derpy cats, and they brought all the derpy cats.
Hey, the cats are cats.
And I see your cats, and I raise you, Ivan, the Tarantino fans of the show.
Okay, because I'm like, they have to mean something, and I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I guess the cats, because cats are like loners, and they're kind of loners at night. I guess that's the equivalent there. But boy, sure, a lot of feet fetish people rejoice in Insomniacs after school.
Oh, that's so true. I did catch that. So
I think they touch feet before they touch hands, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, there's definitely a feet fetish going on in this show. I did like in the ending theme or like the ending.
The
song,
ending.
They show like the
a lot of stuff. So Tarantino, rejoice! This is the anime for you this season.
It is, like I said, it's always funny when you notice the manga's like.
What they're into, perhaps.
Like, oh, okay, a lot of butt shots. Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I think I know what he's into, indeed.
Yeah, he doesn't develop anything else like that, but certain areas got more attention in certain angles better than some others.
I think my most, I guess, negative, harsh comment I could say about it is I get it, but at the same time, I kind of don't like it because I'm actually a real insomniac. In this story, they try to come up with the same narrative beat to explain why they're insomniacs. But the show goes in the beginning, but that's not how that works. But then the show goes, but this is how it works. And it's just like, that's not how it works. Because of like, it's, so super, once again, we're in a word in spoilers, but I'm going to say it again. Super spoilers is we learn that Isaki, we find out she can't stay up, or she stays up at night because she's like kind of scared and frightened that she just kind of will kind of wake up dead basically because she had like a heart condition and still kind of suffering through that heart condition. And then same thing about him, we find out with,
Ganta.
Yeah, Ganta. Is that his mother basically, which is a thing I kind of wish there was more details about, by the way, just got up and left him and his dad one day and in the middle of the night, and that's why he's kind of like scared of this and that, of like, you know, the next day my mom's gonna get up and disappear, so each day is gonna be worse. So it's like part of me, I understand. It's like part of me, it's like I get it because we need to like try to justify why they're insomniacs as a writer, but at the same time, the show said early on that's not how that works. So which one is it, writer? Is that how it works, or this is how it works? And as an insomniac, I can tell you, it is true. There are some things I can tell you, like, oh, I know why I'm up today. It's because I'm thinking about this thing, and that's why I can't fall asleep. But there are just some nights as an insomniac, you have no idea why the fuck you're up. And it just drives you. And that's the thing I did like about that show quite a bit, is there's times you see him and you like, he's having like a fucking fit. And there's times I find myself having a pretty similar like reaction of like, it's fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. I need to do all these things today. Why the fuck am I still asleep? Or I'm not asleep. So yeah, it's one of those, like, the parts I liked and parts I'm like, kind of didn't like about, we have to like do some story elements to justify this. So it's a little bit, you know, like I said, I'm nitpicking here a little bit, but just to be my usual self, I will do it for the shows that even I enjoy.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of wish I would have seen a little bit more of that, especially from her.
Yes, and yeah, that's a good point you brought up.
She always looked fresh.
She was more, there were some times, but not as much as him. He definitely was like going through it more than she was. They showed on camera. So yeah, that is true. That is a good point, Ivan, as well. But yeah, I think overall this it hit it more than miss for me. And like I said, anytime a more realistic anime shows, romance anime shows up, I'm like, hello there. What else do you have for me? Tell me more.
I know I want to pick up the manga too, so I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, that's slowly. I think they're like on volume 3 out here.
Oh,
and
okay.
I would probably pick that one up. It's been a long time since I picked a manga, but this show I liked enough. I might do it again.
I definitely do not go to sites and read illegally.
Heading to the high seas, joining Luffy and the Straw Hats, Frank? Today's sponsor, Viz Media.
Okay, so now we'll move on to our
Wait. I have one comment.
Oh,
hit me, Frank.
You're saying that, because I guess I missed this part, that she stays awake because she's afraid of her heart condition, and he stays awake because he's afraid, you know, when his mom left.
Yes.
Or was it both parents?
His mom left. And that's the thing I kind of wish they talked about more. I thought they were going to. And even there's like a big story element they were going to, but then it just didn't happen.
Maybe it was too big.
For the anime and the time, question mark.
Because I feel like it's like a heavy topic, right?
Right. And I guess I was just curious because the anime just goes, she just got up and left from work. I'm thinking, there must have been a motivation for that, right? But the show goes, look at this cute romance though instead.
Well, I guess I felt at that moment when we're getting there, like we're finishing the show, you know? I felt
Right.
Like, you know, there's not like we're not gonna do like little tidbits here and there, and like never sees it. I was like, no, this
Right.
we're covering everything here and now. There's nothing.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, for better or for worse, and then you can feel when they cut things off because we got to get to the end, you know.
I wanted a little bit, not a lot more, but just a little bit more, so I could be like, oh, okay, cool.
But that's why you read the manga.
Yeah, and that's honestly that's why I'm gonna pick it up for just that reason alone.
Yeah, but even though like not the part he couldn't sleep, because I know it was kind of like a backstory for it.
Right.
I still like that it was something that he was basically dealing with inside like the whole time, and so basically he got to the point where he was able to tell someone about how he felt. So I know like maybe it doesn't fully explain why he can't sleep, but I still like that it was like something that was bothering him.
Right.
Well, I think Ark even say at the end, you know, tend that he still suffers through insomnia still. Just now
it's getting better.
He's dealing with it better.
Yeah, he's kind of looking.
And that's a good thing. They didn't solve it. Like, and now I can't.
Yeah. Oh my god. I would have lost my shit.
I felt like that would have been.
That would have been the word. Think about it. Oh wow, my insomnia is completely gone now that I'm in love. Oh my god, that would have been the worst ending of all time. Fuck me.
You know, that's what I thought was gonna happen, and it's kind of like why I wasn't enjoying it, because in the beginning, I thought it was the room that was like, oh, you know, this is where they can sleep. And then it was like, oh, no, it's just gonna be, you know, them being together and stuff.
Oh, and
well,
yeah, cure all the problems.
Well, like this, like no, like his Saki said, you know, like he heard his heartbeat, and that helps him go to sleep.
Yeah. But it kind of goes to what I mentioned in the very beginning, like the being saved.
It is a little. They're kind of saving each other.
Yeah.
But I liked it when I don't mind it as much when they save each other. Now, when it's the guy that saves the girl, which is like 99% of the time.
Yeah. You know, there's another one I thought that it's very similar, but I think does it like way better, and it's Beck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost similar, but completely different.
Right.
Very different. But
it's got, and that's why I mentioned, because it made me think of Beck, despite like there's not many things instead of that the fact it's believable. That's about the only connection between the two stories and anime series.
Yeah. But that's the one when I thought of this one, like this kind of reminds me of Beck, but I know it's completely different. But just like the premise, you have like two teenagers that are, you know, kind of going through some stuff, and they kind of, you know, I guess help each other. But I felt this one was a little bit more with the I'm being saved, and Beck was more like I'm finding myself, and this person is like coming along the way, something like that.
Yeah, no, Beck is definitely more like coming of age and discovering yourself. Well, this is a little bit more just traditional romance.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys ready to move on to the next topic?
I'm ready. The question is, are you ready? Because you got to explain this to the audience.
Okay. I know how to explain it.
Okay.
Here
let me get my popcorn, folks. I'll be right back.
Popcorn sounds good right now.
So Oshinoko, right?
That's it.
Oshinoko. So basically, the setup is that there's a pop idol named Ai that is pregnant, and so she goes to this remote hospital out in the country, and she meets the doctor. I do not have the names in front of me.
Dr. Blackjack.
No, it doesn't matter because
he doesn't. We'll get there soon enough, and it does not matter.
Yeah. And he happens to be a fan of Ai. So, and in the process, well, he is the doctor that's gonna help her give labor. And I haven't seen that first episode in a while, but basically he remembers that he had a patient that was also a fan of Ai. So we have two fans, and then Ai is gonna give birth to twins. So long story short story, because you can't really get so the patient of the doctor, she dies before Ai arrives to the hospital, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, she's already passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But then so if I remember correctly, he's gonna help her give labor, and he's like, you know, taking care of her. But then he goes out for a stroll one night, and someone calls him over, and he chases them, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I watched this one. But he ends up dead.
He got a phone call, and then next day he was dead. It happens all the time.
So then him and the other patient girl are reincarnated as the babies of Ai, and that's as good as a setup without getting into spoilers. I think that's the best you can do, because I think that's the best way I can explain
Oh,
it.
okay.
So basically, you have the idol that is pregnant. She gives birth to twins, and the doctor and the other patient girl, which are fans of end up reincarnated as the babies.
Makes sense.
Okay, and
that's how the story begins.
No questions here. Keep going.
And I think that's because after that is like spoilers, right?
Well, because when you were missing on the preview, I just went to everything on episode 1.
Oh, that's right.
That's personally because in my opinion, when you're talking about 3 episodes, well, this is episode 1, so I'm going to talk about episode 1 because to me, my main focus when talking about a show is talking about what is the show really about. And I would argue all the stuff you just talked about is just prequel. It's just prequel, prologue, mumble jumble for the actual show.
That's true, though.
So it's up to you.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll finish the episode 1. So they're reincarnated as the babies, and the main first episode is just about how Ai is like interacting with their children now, which happen to be these 2 reincarnated people. But the doctor and the patient, the other girl, they don't know who they are. They know that they're reincarnated, but they don't know who they are.
They used to be.
Yeah. Or they know who they are themselves, but not who the other person is.
Right. They don't know they don't know who they used to be, the other people from once upon a time, perhaps.
So the show is setting up how Ai's like being successful as an idol, how she's getting into acting, and they're like going along the journey, and everything is going well, everything's looking good, but she ends up being murdered at the end of the first episode.
Dang.
And that is what sets up the main story, which is like 10 years later, I believe.
Something like that.
Or 8 years.
It's like 10, maybe?
Because they were like 4 or 5,
yeah.
4.
So, yeah, let's say 10.
And then they're
That's
like 15, 16.
Yeah.
So that's the premise, or the prequel. And then we get the main story, which is Aqua, the main character. And he is trying to find out who killed his mom, Ai. And then you have Ruby, his sister, that her dream is to be an idol.
Wow. That's a big first episode.
It was. So I'll go into my initial thoughts. Oh man, I don't know. So
there you go. That's a good start. Oh shoot, I don't know where to start.
How do I feel about this?
Okay. So, this is how I feel about it. I feel I ultimately ended up liking it. Okay, so I'll just leave it as that.
Okay.
The story is definitely all over the place. You have everything that you can want. Not that I'm not saying that you would want as a story, but if you want the genre, it's here. Mystery.
Check all the boxes here.
All the boxes. Anything that you want. Something that's sad, something that's exciting, something that is a mystery, something that is, if you like it, it's probably in here in some form or another.
You like it, we have it.
We got it all. Come on down, Oshinoko.
So, it does honestly kind of reminded me of Hunter x Hunter, like just like.
So we're Shovel time confirmed. All right.
Those are 150 episodes. Okay, got it.
That's when it starts getting good.
That's One Piece.
Just like a lot of plots in the story. But overall, I still feel like I enjoyed it because it was, the word I used in the previous show was exciting. So the production definitely adds value to the show, because if the production was not good, this show probably would have fallen flat on its face. So the production, the music, the animation, the movements, all that, it definitely helps hide some of the story plots. So I guess that's kind of my impression of it.
All right.
Miles?
Let's see. I guess because reasons. Because I guess it's funny because this is a show. I guess it's hard not to talk about spoilers of it but the spoilers is basically the show, right?
Yeah.
But overall, I think it does try best trying to go around, because I guess once you understand the fact how the show's going, like what the main focus of the story is, and not really idols, really, but more about just the entertainment industry itself. Then you go, okay, so we're gonna go around. Look around the world. We're gonna go around the bases. Go around everywhere. And, see how certain shows or certain things are made, and how it's kind of like, I guess, to the viewer, it's supposed to be like, well, this. Do you know your show is like this the whole time? This is how it does behind the scenes. But
whoa.
But most of us, like me and Ray, were like, yeah, no, that's that. We know how that is. That's how the show. Yeah, that's how the show's made. It's stupid. I guess the thing in the fact that because it goes on between but funny bits and like, okay, now time here comes for the dark, heavier, the dark moments, and that's like you said, the production itself, if they didn't do certain moments when certain things were happening, like I don't know how. It could make the show from like 0 to nothing. It was like just like literally pour money into this thing, because the colors, the way how when they time certain movements, things like that, it made the show a lot better than. I did read the manga, the first manga like book, and it's you could treat it as a separate thing because how the manga treats it and how the animes are two different things. And that's why I feel like about anime in general. Like anime should be based on the manga, but it also should probably enhance or do more things to be different. Overall, I think it's kind of hard to describe. It's hard to describe because it's a lot of things. It's happy moments. There's sad moments. There's plot twists. There's twists of twists of twists. There's I guess I won't to spoilers to say anymore because it's a lot to take in.
It's okay. We understand.
Frank, your turn.
I know your pain.
I recently watched it, like marathoned it. And I think the doctor wasn't a fan, and he kind of became a fan as a promise to the patient.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. So just a little thing. I feel like you can get rid of the whole first episode and you'll be fine.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but it's good to watch the first episode because it's like has you a little bit more invested in everyone else. I also feel like when I was watching, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be about idols. So I was kind of like,
I thought I didn't pick this, not Miles.
I like how this time, Ray, make sure like you didn't be last time.
I'm trying to say Frank. I got you, Frank.
No. Let me.
The real villain of the podcast has returned.
Let me do this.
Good.
No. I was going somewhere. So, but it was kind of a little bit refreshing because you see like all the struggles they go through. Because like one, they don't get patient.
Yeah.
So that was good, but after that it kind of became like not about the struggles. It's more about advancing that part of her career. So the way I see it is this is a video game and you can choose the guy or the girl, and I like the guy's story better than the girl's story.
Persona 3 portable?
Yeah, it's like
yeah, but I would argue that's the intent. I think because if you want the good story, the idol story, I guess per se, you follow her story.
You want the real story.
You want the real like the real. I would argue the real main story. You follow him because he sees everything more analytically, more. I guess you argue with a darker tone, I guess, than she does because she's so optimistic. While he's like, "Fuck this, fuck everybody."
Yeah, I kept thinking like this is like if it was a Pokemon game, it would be like Aqua version and
Aqua and Ruby.
Yeah. So
That's funny.
Dude, for Nintendo DS this fall.
So Nintendo is Ruby and Sapphire, so he's not that far off.
Yeah, we're halfway there.
I was surprised that I liked it. Like I think Ivan said that all the money they poured into it,
it helps.
It helped. I think the big part of me liking it was the opening, and the ending was pretty cool too. I just skipped it a lot because I was trying to like
marathon.
Yeah, I was trying to like I kept looking at the watch.
Got no time.
Yeah, so overall I liked it. I did feel like it was two different stories, and I guess we'll talk more about it when we can do spoilers. Yeah,
it's a lot not to unpack. For myself, impression wise, I do remember when I talked about in the preview being confused of what happened in episode 1. And so it was one of those, I don't know what's happening, but I'm kind of curious. And so that stuck with me for the first few episodes. Yeah, and the production value is pretty good. This is Dogo Kubo, who's like swinging for the fences.
They swallowed a big giant bat this time.
Yeah, and they really promote both in Japan and out here. They really promote the shit out the fuck out of this show, at the story in this show, hoping this to be the next big hot thing. And it sure lived up to the hype. It was, I think, number 1, if not number 2, next to Demon Slayer, the thing that I just talked about that everyone loves and I hate. So there's a lot of money riding on this show to be successful. So high expectations for sure, obviously. And I was curious to see about it because haven't seen a lot of idol shows, but the premise so early off, it did imply like we're gonna talk about the nitty gritty stuff, and I was curious to see if they're actually gonna follow through that throughout the show. And I'll get to that part when we get to spoilers. But yeah, there's a lot of things going, a lot of check boxes for sure, as Ivan suggested. And so there's something I think that'll get you attracted on day one. Now, if you stick through it and enjoy it and follow through to the rest of this season and more to come, I don't know. I guess it's up to you as a person, and maybe in the spoilers we'll get to that perhaps. But yeah, it's an interesting premise. The opening people like.
I like the first 10 seconds.
I like parts of the opening, and then parts of it I can't stand. I like the ending a little bit more. I'll say that.
It's just a Ray ending, though.
It's a very
Ray ending. That's all I know.
Kind of, yeah. I do like it.
You love it when they fade into the ending.
They do bleed into the ending a couple times in this show. They pulled the Full Metal Alchemist. But yeah, it's a lot of things going on. There's a mystery, and I like a mystery, so I guess that was good enough for me to keep watching, and I kept watching.
Yeah.
So ready for some spoilers?
Spoilers, let's go crazy.
Okay, so I guess I can start. So right off the bat, I have read past the series, some chapters. So about the greediness of like the industry, and that element definitely keeps on going. So I think that's one thing I did enjoy of it. So I guess the best way I can describe this season is like a setup. You know, it's just like a setup for more, you know, to continue. The one thing that kind of bothered me the most of the show was that Ruby almost didn't matter in this season.
Yeah.
So like that was probably my biggest.
She took a backseat for sure.
Like, and I guess because Ai's like the way she's such an important character, even though she's no longer in the show, it keeps on affecting all the characters, and then Ruby has to almost, you know, follow up or, you know, take over.
Right.
And the big climax moment is like, I still haven't seen you enough in the show, you know, like when it was kind of her moment. You know, she didn't really have that much of an importance up to the story. So that was probably the thing that bothered me the most of it. I also felt that some of the stories that probably could have used a little bit more time, the darker stories, like for example, like the attempt at suicide one, other stories that I felt like they weren't dealt with such care. You know, I think they could have been very topics that people do go through. So,
right.
But I felt like it maybe it was just like a time constraint of like the anime, but it was like kind of like, here's a story, let's wrap it up. We need to go. Right. That's something else that bothered me a bit. But I was looking forward to the next episode because I was watching it weekly. So from all the shows I watched, it was still the one, even though I'm like, this feels a little funky, the story is a little weird, it was still the show I was looking forward to the most of all the shows I watched. And I don't know if it's because it's definitely a show that's very visually stimulating because of all the colors and all the like the sparkles in their eyes, and
we'll get to that in a little bit. At least I know I will.
Yeah, so it definitely like has you. At least I felt I was engaged of it, but I do feel like this story could have been a little bit more. I will probably even say it's kind of a poorly written story, but it's enough to be like, okay, I guess it doesn't matter because it still looks good. I guess
it's very glossy paint. They're like, it's a glossy.
Now I was pulling a frame from last week. Oh, they're very pretty. So that's all that matters. Personality, what's that?
But I was interested in the mystery.
Frank remembers.
I was interested in I think that's like the main plot point, right? The mystery of like who killed Ai.
Right.
And I think they did keep on going back to it enough times for you to be, oh no, this is still what it's about. So those are, I guess, kind of like my spoiler thoughts.
All right.
I guess I'll go next.
Sure.
To me, I feel like I understand I was complaining that I feel like stories were kind of short and sweet, but I feel at that point, where we're basically Aqua's starting at nowhere. He's at the bottom rung, whatever. So he has to go. He's trying to eventually get his way up to the top. So as we go into every different genre, like going to the TV drama, or him going out to theater, I feel like we're gonna get more of that not only we get like more of the behind the scenes kind of like, oh no, this is how the show really, no, things are made, things are done that people don't really know or care about, right? But I feel like we're going through the entertainment in general. You know, it's not. Originally, I thought like Frank said, I thought it was gonna be just like an idol show. We're just doing with like, this is the realistic version of idols and how idols really are. Because even though we're going there for a bit, they were saying, how like their costumes go from the girls' paychecks, how they get paid. They really get nothing really in the end of the day. But then once we kind of, I think because they don't want to use that up all the time, because I think that's what Ruby's going to deal with most of it in her storyline. I think they save all the for her, and they're going to give Aqua's going to do all the other industry stuff, because he's trying to find this guy, find the person that they hired
the murderer,
right?
The murderer. So
they hired the murderer,
right? The guy who's responsible for the murder.
Yeah, because that's all he. At the end of the day, that's all he really cares about. Whatever appearances he gives,
he doesn't give a shit.
He's like, whatever I do to get the job done, and he's not, he seems moments like he does stupid things, right? Per se, like he used to, but he followed the contract technically, like especially with when he used the raw footage, right, from the TV show,
right?
Technically, if you look at the contract, it says here I can't use it unless I use the regular social, because he can't get me.
He's kind of like a light Lelouch, right?
He's a very smart guy. ?
Well, he was a doctor.
There's that. I'll get to that in my turn.
Yeah, but I feel like you sense like he at the end of the day he wants revenge. That's all all
for revenge.
And he'll say anything, do things like that, whatever. And I said like that moment, especially with Kanye, right? The light, I call it the light moment. Like, oh, I seen this shit before. I don't want it. No, not this again. And I'm like, I'll use her to get go ahead in the. I was like, here, cue the. Well, I don't even have it in the soundboard. The definitely, here we go.
I should have that Ryuk laugh. I should have that one to soundboard.
Because that's
a great scene.
Because that's like here we go.
That's a good scene.
But overall, I think they did a good job trying to balance, because they have to explain like the mystery, right? How he's gonna get information to, because you can't just go it's not like Demon Slayer. It's that guy. I know.
That's the guy right there. It's Michael Jackson. Everyone, look! It's Michael Jackson.
Okay, kid,
fucking Demon Slayer.
Because that was the moment when that's when the whole.
I threw in the towel when that happened.
Like when that happened, that's like you can't have your bad guy show up literally out of nowhere. Oh, it's that guy.
It's our first day in Tokyo. It's the main villain, everyone. Fuck me. That's what happens in Demon Slayer, everyone, if you didn't know. Spoiler question mark.
Like, obviously here we're doing mystery, like so he has to make contacts with the producer guy. This guy knows how her eyes contacts, so he's slowly trying to put the pieces together, and he has to climb up the industry ladder to get the information he wants. So that part makes sense. I do argue, I do agree with, even though I think Ruby does get a little pushed back behind. But I think in Ruby's case, her stories at this moment is pretty simplified. She was very sickly, and she passed away. She's trying to deal with now having this chance to be an idol and things like that.
Right, her previous life.
Yeah, and there are they do sort of struggles in it, because then she'll mention like she struggled with and like a lot of, they didn't know, but we're seeing as the audience seeing all her battles at the hospital, and trying to, like she said, I could try to move, try just to
do anything. Yeah, honestly,
do anything. So it is a 12, and not much as I think Aqua's story is at this point, but there's a little bit of that moment too. Like she does reflect on it, kind of. It does affect her how she thinks, and even arc, because even though she is following Ai's footsteps, it's not exactly 100% being. Oh look, she's the center, so this gonna like.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
No, at least they changed it up so that way. She's not the center, but everyone just sense like there's something in her. There's.
Yeah, it's not so like on the nose and obvious.
I thought she's definitely going to be the center.
Right, because she's the chosen one,
yeah.
And it turns out she's not the chosen one. Which, yes, that was actually pretty refreshing.
Yeah, but everyone says like oh, this girl has something in her that reminds me of
So it's good. I'm remembering the scene that they're like, we're gonna see who's
the karaoke. Yeah. And I had to go back because I was kind of confused for a sec. Like what? And I'm like, oh, they both really fucking suck. Oh, that's funny.
So I thought that did make me laugh.
That was funny. It's every once in a while it gets a couple hits in.
But I feel like the Ruby's story is gonna be more lighthearted, kind of like with like little dark tones here and there.
Right.
But this is like this is like for the idol master.
It's exactly it's for the miles out there looking for the idols.
Like, idols like, oh, there you go. They're gonna make their stance. They're gonna make it to the top. I don't know. And then Aqua's like, we're gonna go into the industry. We're gonna find this asshole.
And for the murder mystery fans,
and I'll use whatever I can to get to it. So it's like
Liam Neeson.
We'll find you.
What's that comment? It's like I said, like Death Note Idol Master. That's like the best way to put it, because obviously he's trying to solve the clues and trying to get to this guy.
Why didn't you just call Detective Conan?
Yeah,
he would have solved it in seconds.
Yeah, just with a little book like it. Yeah.
So, I know my cousin says I haven't read the full manga. I've only read like so many chapters afterwards, like the next big arc. But everyone says that it still gets really dark. So even it seems like even her story will get dark at some point.
Only makes sense.
What I'm saying, like I said, and that's why I feel like they didn't really touch her very much, because
it's not her turn yet.
Yeah, I'd make that argument.
Unfortunately, because Aqua's pretty much the backbone of this whole story. Him trying to find this guy is like the real.
He's the main appeal for a broader audience, at least. And
then, but we're gonna touch everywhere. We're gonna get dark stories of how the entertainment world and how real we're gonna give it to the entertainment. That's a real question, right? Because there are certain moments. I think we'll wait till when Ray talks. I guess I know Ray told me about a little bit. He gave me a little preview earlier of what he's going to talk about, but
Oh, I did.
Spoilers of spoilers.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but and I'll wait for his turn to talk about it. But I guess I'm curious how far, like how down this rabbit hole we're going to go. I guess. But overall, I do know is I think there's a second season coming soon.
That is happening.
Yeah. Oh, it got confirmed already?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Right after the.
All right, we skipped news. Whoops. That was in the news.
Yeah. So guess what? Oshinoko's getting a second season. Everyone.
Spoiler alert.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited.
That checks out so far.
I kid you not, when
the music video, the ending.
The moment when Akane changed her eyes to eyes, right? When she's trying to channel.
Oh, the Full Metal part?
Yeah, a little bit.
But that moment she does that, and he's like, I did not saw this coming. I got, he got like, he just didn't saw that coming at all.
They knew how to good cliffhangers.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned to you before, right, about the cliffhangers. I think I mentioned in the episode that I missed of like my positive notes, and I said good cliffhangers.
Oh,
I think that was one of my positives. Good, and they did that throughout the whole show. And then the show's over. I'm like, oh damn.
That's true. That's true.
They set it up with a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Frank.
All right. I guess I'll start off with the eyes part. That was confusing for me because if I thought it was a trait like of Ai, where she has just a distinctive look, and that's why the twins have that look too. But I did notice it changing color at some time, like when Aqua was going dark, his eyes turned black. So I'm wondering if that's like significance of mood, because when what was her name, Akane, the girlfriend, the fake girlfriend.
Oh, the one that tried to kill herself.
Yeah, when she had her eyes changed, and I was like, no, you can't do that because you're not related to.
The notion did cross my brain. This is true.
So that was the one thing I was like, wow, what's going on here? Is that like a when they awaken they're gonna
right? Yeah, she's ready to go Super Saiyan.
I think there is some of that.
It's an artistic choice to signify. Do you get it, stupid? A little bit.
Well, it's a way to signify there's something there's a spark in there.
Right, and that's what it is. It's exactly. I get it, but I also agree with Frank at the same time.
And arguing in Akane's case, it did that because that way she's
channeling in her inner eye.
Yeah, and then it's like spooked the stuffing out of him, right?
Right, real quick. Like love, get it?
Yeah.
Mick, they got my nose, Mick.
Yeah, we know.
And I want to mention two things that kind of bother me for the whole series. I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing it, but it kind of like. Because, I don't get why she's so amazing. The main... Yeah. Like,
Believe the hype.
Well, it's a whole...
The show relies on you to believe the hype.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's because...
I agree with you, Frank.
The part where I guess the old fan is at the concert, and he's like, well, this is not the big Kamachi, I know.
This is the noodle I know. What's this Boruto bullshit?
I know. And then, like, he sees them dance, and he's like, suddenly becomes a fan. He's like, they didn't do anything special.
Yeah,
So it was just like
she's got the magical eyeball.
I don't buy it.
I'm not trying to defend that point, but the only thing I'll say is like some people have it, whatever it is,
What?
and I think I'm just talking about like movie stars
Right,
or
right,
whatever.
in general.
So like whatever one person definition of is it, I do think that some people have it, and for whatever reason,
They draw the eyeballs to let you know they have it.
It depends on the person too. Like he saw part because technically Ruby's because according to everyone in the world now, they're not really Ai's kids, really, right?
Well, yeah, they don't know their relationship at all.
Yeah. So but they said they said something like kind of like that. Well, because
Right, and that's always a convenience. We're like, well, sure, which.
well,
I'll stop.
Right, go on.
Yeah, let
Frank.
me finish first.
Your turn, Frank.
Settle down, guys. So I agree with you, Ivan. Like, some people have it. I just wish that the anime did a better job of explaining what it is, or and I just don't get it.
What?
So it's like I wish it was like I don't know.
It's an idol thing. It's hard to describe it because it's like they have it.
The wow factor.
I think that's all they were trying to do in the anime, right? Like,
Yeah,
wow, like she walks in and catches your eye right away.
And that's what it is. It's for you, the viewer, to understand. Like, oh, they have it because she's got the silly eyeballs.
Yeah, because she has a lot of charisma. That's the whole.
Basically.
I just felt that all three of them were like really good. Like I couldn't distinct which one has it. And
Right, but it's more of a convenience for the story for you, the reader, to understand. They all have the magic eye, and if you have the magic eye, then they're very capable of certain things.
No, because I think that guy only liked her.
Wait, well, back it up now.
That fan, the old fan that was like, no, I'm not gonna like this.
Oh, we're still. Oh, I see. Why did he get mesmerized by her?
Yeah, I wish it was a little more clear.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Frank. I agree with you. It's just a very hand wavy. You will now believe the hype because she has the eyeball and she had the eyeball, so hand wavy.
like Luke Skywalker.
Pretty much. These aren't the idols you're looking for.
Well, it is convenient. I mean,
It is.
But he had
Indeed
to end the show like I guess.
Well, you want to, you're moving the plot forward. Don't think about We'll get back to the murder mystery, the part you like. I swear. Wait. We'll get back to it.
We had to do some shenanigans here first, but
If not, we'll throw more shit in the wall. You'll like that shit. Don't worry, it's gonna happen right now.
All right. And the other part that kind of bothered me, but so
Hit me, friend.
it's kind of weird because that patient is in love with the doctor.
That is a thing.
And like she says it, like my first love was this guy, and I'm like,
yeah, but
I hope they don't go into like, well, if you're my love, I guess we gotta get married. And they're brothers, so it's the part that.
But are they brothers? I'm joking. I'm joking.
They're only cousins. It's fine. As long as
I'm
they're
joking.
cousins, everything's up for grabs.
I am.
Step siblings. It's all kosher now.
Yeah,
Let's go. Let's go.
If you've been reincarnated, that's what all the rules.
The bloodline changes.
Yeah,
Here we go.
I am definitely joking. Oh, that's true. It is kind of a harem too, right? If you think about it.
Oh yeah.
And then
I'm waiting.
And then if you take into account, like, you're like, because they even said it, like, whoa, if he's older than me, it's like, well, he's like way older than her. So it's like, so it's kind of scary. It's walking on the edge.
The only thing though to defend it, and once again, I'm not so much trying to defend it, but he did have that one scene where he basically said that his old stuff was like fading away.
Right.
So he did kind of mention that in one of the episodes, like towards the end, that like his old mind, like how his previous life, he was already like becoming more accustomed like his new body, and like so like the feelings of like, because it was about him being attracted to like girls, right? And he said like,
right,
so he kind of said like that part of him was slowly fading away. It wasn't as present anymore. He was like more in his new self, something like that.
I just
he synced up now, so now he's at a point in which
you can separate the two lives.
Yeah, because now to him that life is done now, and this is his life now. So
Which it took him 17 years to figure that out, or whatever his age is.
Well, not revenge, right?
I guess so.
Revenge,
I
is
guess.
a toll, I guess.
But it kind of goes back to what I was saying. It is like, I don't know if it's like the best story or like it's like, but because you'll find a lot of the things that you're noticing. So.
Yeah, so I'm like, I feel like they could have like been like, okay, both of them are reincarnated, but don't have the same mom. It's just
It's
two different idols could have been like could avoid the incest.
it's a whole thing.
I guess issue fact is that you could cut out episode 1, the series kicks off, and may slowly drip that maybe down the line. Maybe
do they mention that they're brothers after episode 1?
Brothers?
What?
Like I mean, not brothers. Do they mention the relationship that they have? But do we know the history if we don't watch episode 1? Because we know they're both reincarnated.
Not if you just skipped to episode 2. Our guess you probably would not know that information. I think.
No, you wouldn't.
Well,
That's where it shows that she died. And
It explains it out, flat out. They maybe hint at it like later episodes, but it's not very obvious if you skip episode 1.
just to end my thoughts, that's basically what I didn't like, and I did find it funny a lot of times, and I don't know why. Like Ivan says, it's not very good story. But I found, because I was telling people about it at work.
You were drawn into it per se.
I was like, I'm watching something and I don't know what I'm watching. and I'm like, let me explain it to you. And I'm like, okay, so this is doctor. This is
already.
And then I was like, and then he dies. And then she dies. It's like, what is going on here?
I feel like
how to lose everyone instantly.
This is like a bar conversation, right? You go to a bar fight. You go to a bar late at night.
Have you been drinking tonight, Frank?
It's like, so let me get it straight. So the doctor he dies.
Well, what's the fun? There was this doctor, and he had a patient who had cancer, and the next thing you know, they're both siblings. It was crazy.
You're making this up. So yeah, it was just so weird, and it's just like,
it is a very unique setup.
It's checking a lot of boxes.
But I mean, one of my favorite moments was when the red hair girl meets Aqua, and she asked him like, "Yeah, you're here, act right."
Oh,
I think that like moment was funny because she goes, "What?" and then it just ends. I'm like, "Oh, what?" I thought that was kind of cute. I'm like, and then
her.
The other part that made me laugh a lot was the ending when they just show Aqua doing the dance moves. Like,
oh, the very end.
I was like, that's kind of funny.
It is fun. It's silly.
I like you do it with a straight face.
Why with
like,
a straight face, doing all these like nonsense
like,
otaku moves.
I'm doing this. Like you're just doing it. Like not. I don't care what you're saying.
Man loves his sister.
And this is like, is this a thing? Because I feel like they kind of mentioned it, but I don't know if it's real. Where depending on the color you have of your glow stick, that's who you're supporting.
Yeah, basically.
That's a thing. Oh, that's
yeah.
He had all three, right?
He had all three. That's his answer. Because he's supporting them all. Because he loves them all.
Whatever helps the plot go forward.
Also that, perhaps.
I feel like usually it's like all the guys like, or the guys.
All the girls like the gun guy.
Different anime.
What anime is that, Frank?
Well,
I'm asking for a friend. Not for myself.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about it later.
All right, we'll do it after the pod.
I didn't feel that much like everybody loved him. It was more like between Akane and the actor girl.
Oh,
Kana.
Oh, sorry.
What's her name again?
Kana. The red hair, short hair.
Yeah, no, that the last scene that was a good like. Oh, they don't like each other at all. Good, they were gonna work.
That was something.
Yeah, so I mean, I enjoyed it and I had fun watching it.
All right, well, that's always good.
Ray?
Where to begin with Oshi no Ko?
I like. All right, here we go.
Pull out the notes.
Everyone sit down. Everyone relax and stretch.
Everyone's got the popcorn. Nice fresh spot of tea, perhaps.
Wait, let me crick my neck here.
Let me warm up here.
All right, here we go.
This is the stupidest thing.
Now here's the real main story. Here's the real plot.
Oh, I mean, okay, what do I talk about? Okay, I'm going to be somewhat serious for a minute here, because I know this is a bit of a controversy with the show, because sadly, there's some similarities that actually happen in real life in Japan that I guess I most want to address to a certain degree. And then I'll move on to overall the general story and entertainment with what they're trying to do here in Oshi no Ko. So sadly, the story bit with Akane, that's the big drama beat where she basically attempts suicide, basically actually happened to a real life person in Japan with a similar situation, where she also was part of a reality show, and a popular reality show that you can watch here in America, I believe, the Terrace House.
Yeah, Terrace House. Mm-hmm.
So this is, if you're on the know.
I originally went to that story happened, and I kind of like, I'm down.
A lot of the story elements seems to be based off a real story, and sadly, in the real version, reality, what happens? She took her own life. And her mother, who, and this happened somewhat recently, she has been a proponent of trying to make change and make awareness of like, because just what happened in Oshi no Ko, her real daughter suffered through cyberbullying, people telling her this and that, she's worthless and terrible and this and that. And that's sadly what motivated her to take her life. And her mother's been trying to be a proponent of people to be better people, not be social, just assholes on the internet. And sadly, when she saw this episode, Oshi no Ko, she couldn't help but make comparisons to her own life and what happened to her daughter. And it's not so much, I don't want to be so harsh to the authors, because the authors, that's what they're going for in this show. They're trying to point out, boy, the entertainment sure can be fucked up and rough here in Japan, let alone the rest of the world. And it's definitely true. The problem I have is that in Japan, fans, quotation marks, of Oshi no Ko, when this happened, when the real life mother pointed out, like, I really wish you guys would like do something better and like acknowledge, like, hey, you should. And if you notice here in America, on the High Dive, they at the end of the episode they say, hey, by the way, this is a story of fiction, but if you know anyone who has suicide tendencies, you should let them know this is a hotline and help them, give them some support when they need in a time of crisis. And so that's something they did here in America. In Japan, they didn't do that. They just aired the episode as entertainment and left it as is, which, in my opinion, not the greatest move. And so the mother basically called out on that and said, like, you guys should do a little bit more than nothing. And then everyone on the internet jumped on the mother saying, oh, you're just a terrible person. You don't know shit, this and that. You're just shut the fuck up. Anyone who did that, fucking fuck you. You're a piece of trash. Go think about what you did and be a better fucking person. So there's that. So I just want to acknowledge that this is a real thing that happened. And anyone who thinks that is just trash and needs to be a better human being. Back to Oshi no Ko, the entertainment anime that we enjoy and we're talking about reviewing of if it's a good show worth your time and this and that. It is a interesting show. It checks a lot of boxes. I do like a murder mystery, which is kind of basically what happens in the show. So it already happened off the bat of I want to see where this is going to go. The idle entertainment stuff is interesting because, once again, a lot of animes in Japan, they're trying to be very optimistic and very positive and don't like to talk about the negative, not in a social light, right? And this show constantly just keeps doing that and saying, like, the analyst strategy is tough, it's fucked up, the man is right. If you're a streamer, you only make 30-60. I mean, once again, you can look here in America with Twitch. They changed the ratio to like 70-30, and they've been doing terrible things. So it's a whole thing of entertainment industry, both in Japan and abroad, everywhere in the world. So I like the fact these creators have a goal and mission. They're really trying to portray the things that are messed up and should be better. So I do appreciate that, and this show does a very good job about that. The problem is that the story is, at the end of the day, I'm not sure what the point of the whole isekai element of them dying and being reincarnated, all that. I feel like we honestly just could have skipped episode 1. I gave birth to these magical twins that just happened to be super geniuses, because that's basically what happened in the middle of episode 1, where the future like adopted mother went like, wow, you kids could learn how to talk at the age of like 1.5 or whatever, something stupid like that. So I feel like all that stuff could have been avoided. And all the weird stuff that Frank mentioned in the back of your head, which you definitely didn't mind, could just be erased, because it just so happens they're super genius children from day one, because whatever, they got the magical eyeball that Ai has. You could keep all that shit still intact and make sense. I don't know what's the purpose of the reincarnation shit. Maybe it gets a plot point later on, but honestly, I kind of don't want it to be.
Well, they do mention that he did look himself up, and there was no mention of him disappearing at all.
Right, which I don't know what that means one way or another. We'll find out.
He's not dead.
And see, there's also that.
Well,
I don't know. It's a big mystery, right?
In my head, this is me just speculating here.
Uh-huh.
It reminds me a lot of Clannad.
What season, first of all?
Well, I guess after story.
Oh, no.
And I guess I don't want to get spoiled because that's spoiled for that, too. But
I think I know what you mean.
But basically, it kind of happened.
Well, that's one way to spoil the show for me, Miles. Thank you.
But this is me speculating.
All right. So you're speculating. Okay, you don't know this for a fact.
I don't know this for a fact.
All right. Because I know you read ahead a little bit, right?
Yeah, what I read is where
the anime ends.
What literally end right before the TV drama.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah, so Ivan, keep your mouth shut over there, because you read more, probably.
Like no.
Spoilers. Hold up.
Oh, for Oshi no Ko?
Yeah.
I've only gotten up to
the next arc ahead of this,
which is they already set it up, which was
the Ruby.
The theater.
The theater bit. Oh, right.
So that's where I've been, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but they definitely do a lot more of like the what goes behind the scenes. So I think you would really like it personally, because they do a lot of that for as far as what I've read in so far.
Yeah, so and the thing that I think that bugs me the most is, I think Frank once again pointed out, is the whole reincarnation stuff, but just the aspect of like, so two things. For one, it's kind of weird and creepy because sometimes I feel like the story is trying its best to justify why like a 30-year-old is hanging out with a bunch of teenagers sometimes. Because he talks about, because he always, you're talking like an old man, and this and that, and like, I get it, because yes, basically he is. But it's, I don't know, there's something a little nefarious perhaps about it. It's someone's trying to justify it. How can I, an otaku mangaka of an old age, hang out with a bunch of teenagers and not be thrown away instantly into the slammer for hanging out with a bunch of teenagers sometimes? It feels like some kind of weird fantasy, perhaps. I don't know, maybe that's me thinking too much. Perhaps it is. But sometimes it just rubs me the wrong way because they're always determined to portray Aqua as this old man and like, oh, I don't got no time for these kids and their bullshit and their TikToks. But then once in a while, oh, maybe I will hang out with these kids and the teenagers and I won't get arrested because I too am a teenager. It sometimes rubs me the wrong way. Maybe it's me reading too much.
You know, I guess I can see it now that you pointed out.
Yeah.
I didn't process it. Well, if you remember my original notes, I said that some things were not believable, if you recall. So remember that scene in the very first episode? He's having this full-blown conversation with the director, and he's like 2.
Right.
He's like, and I'm like,
like, there's really? A lot of that also happening.
If a 2-year-old was talking to me like that, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, what the fuck is this demon child? Exactly.
What are you? So that's where I kind of say, like, I don't know if it's like the best story,
right? But
it does, I guess, like a lot of like, whoa, but look at this. Whoa, but look at this.
Exactly. They're throwing so much shit at the wall.
Well, I think,
and it does. That's just like the sad part is at the end of the day, I do agree. At the end of the day, there's enough for you to be like, what is that shit on the wall over there? I don't know, but I kind of want to see what it is.
In me, I feel like the whole reincarnation bit because everyone likes isekais.
So here, that's me trying to think on the more positive side. So the reason he justifies all the things is he's trying to get all the otaku nerds who love isekais to come watch this show that's really trying to badmouth the entertainment industry, which basically is what it is doing. So that is like the most positive way to think about it.
It reminds me of like Suzume, right? You know, we had a whole bit about Suzume, and like obviously, it's supposed to be a girl's story. Like,
I see.
You know, and but the audience up that's thinking about other nefarious people.
Right.
You know, but you always say, well,
we got to trick them because it's about a boy and a girl. So here's a boy, and that is also, like I said, that is the most positive way to think about it. He's trying to trick normal anime people to watch things that aren't really anime, kind of. But he throws a bunch of anime cliches to. It's almost like an Ava thing, kind of. I would argue, maybe.
Well, I'm saying because I feel like he's done a lot of stuff because he wants to get everyone to come in. He wants to get everyone to come in and see the darkness of this nonsense.
But sometimes he straddles that line between which side on the fence is he, and it scares me sometimes which side.
And in a way, I argue that's kind of I won't say the good about it, but I think that's like the fact that he goes so close to the line, I guess.
Right.
That I feel like he's trying to do it so that way
he's trying to get people to watch his shit.
Yeah.
If you're not aware of his, Jedi mind trick, it's concerning. I'll say that. I don't know, good or bad, it's concerning.
Well, that's the thing, because I feel like everyone's at this moment like, ooh, I didn't know this is dark, right? But you and me, right, for example,
right.
We kind of like, well, yeah, that's like, especially like the whole TV.
Well,
show.
we all live in LA, so we kind of know what the Hollywood magic is.
And reality TV shows, yeah, that's how reality TV shows are,
right?
That's how it's really made. The sausage is really made.
Right. And speaking of which, I guess that's the other, like, slightly more, like, kind of rolling my eyes problem with the show. There's a lot of times where, and I get it, because the author, their goal is to, like, I'm trying to badmouth the entertainment industry once again. But it's very, like, did you know 5% of actors, drop out of acting by the age of 7? Did you know that reality stars at the age of 17, there's all these, like, just random drops of facts that they love throwing everywhere. And they usually have the poor Kana girl just dropping all these facts to justify. And it seems very robotic and very obvious of what the author is trying to make you feel and think about this show and this industry. So it's not, I wish it was a little bit more subtle. Sometimes it's just kind of like, I'm like, I get it. I got you what you're saying. I got it, bro.
I would argue technically he has it because people won't get it.
Right. But
Because
I'm the English graduate. I'm gonna be like,
but no,
I get it. All right, you broke my nose already 3 times, Mick. Stop it.
yeah, but unfortunately, you have to, a lot of kids these days just don't get it.
And yet, the reaction to the real life thing is sadly they fucking. I love how the show said, "Hey, don't be an asshole on the internet," and everyone on the asshole. So it's okay to be an asshole on the internet. You dumb fucking fucks.
Well, any final thoughts, anyone, before we move on to our choices?
Our rankings. So yeah, at the end of the day,
our rankings, right?
Yeah, because we still got to do a ranking, so then we can do our draft, which I guess we'll do quick, perhaps. But yeah, it's a lot of things It's a lot of things. At the end of the day, I did find it entertaining, and I was curious to see what happens in the next episode. But I'm also very aware of what they're trying to do, and I'm kind of like straddling the line of like, am I gonna like this or not? I don't know, but I do look forward to season 2. So that's my thoughts overall.
Okay, so now finally we get to choose which is the best. Wait, does Skip and Loafer count as a choice?
So here's the thing, Ivan.
Okay.
Because you are a lucky chosen guy who picked your runner-up pick got chosen. So based on all the conversations we had of all the animes we covered for the season, what show do you actually want to be your chosen one for the rankings this year? Would you like Oshi no Ko or Skip and Loafer to be the actual points that matter for you?
I'm going with Oshi no Ko.
Oshi no Ko. Man, sticking with the hot anime of the season.
Well, the man also sees the numbers like, no, I'm going to go with the higher number. Yes.
Alrighty. So then that means, for everyone that's listening, that means Ivan has Oshi no Ko. Miles has A Galaxy Next Door. Frank is Why Liliana
went to the Duke's Mansion.
There we go. Thank you for that.
Ended up at the
there. Come on, Miles. I thought you knew this show.
But I didn't know Frank would.
There you go. I always said, I see. It was all part of the bigger plan. And then mine, Insomniacs After School, is my choices. So we will be ranking these, and based on the rankings, we get to choose who goes first in our draft that we'll do after this. So, Ivan, it's back to you. How do you want to do it?
I'm going with Oshi no Ko. I think. No, let me say why. Skip and Loafer. Ultimately, the guy ruined it for me to not add it in my choices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Galaxy. We went over how like.
Maybe we don't need it.
Tune in to the last episode.
Yeah. See episode 12, everyone.
Raylina, I think it was better, but it was also kind of that. So it really comes down between Insomniacs and Oshi no Ko for me. And I think the reason why I give it more of an edge to Oshi no Ko was just because if there's a second season, I'm still looking more forward to Oshi no Ko than Insomniacs After School. So I think that's why I just have to give it up to that one.
Okay.
Ultimately.
Not just because you're super biased because it's your pick.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say I'm ducking, but just in case.
And then what? So then is that Insomniacs After School be number 2 for you?
Yes, number 2.
And so what would be number 3?
Raylina, and then Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Shocker, perhaps.
Wait, can you say that list again?
So Oshi no Ko, Insomniacs number 2, Raylina number 3, and then number 4 is Galaxy.
And Skip and Loafer, we just
We're not,
It's dead, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can add it in, you could rank it in, but it doesn't technically matter for the draft.
Oh, see, like I don't know which one I'll put number 2. I am gonna put that one number 3.
Okay.
Excuse me, I have to do my producer bit right now. So we did.
He's not writing anything.
Yeah.
I'm just faking. Definitely. I'm working very hard.
Yeah. Ray's playing like Ivan is the stand of his own choices. Got it.
Alrighty then. So I believe it's Miles' turn. Miles, how would you rank our season?
I'm gonna start from the bottom. So I guess for me at the end of the day, I guess Skip and Loafer in the bottom. Because the reason being is because it doesn't really fall. It's kind of like a baby Oshi no Ko in that, but it doesn't go far enough. And
where's the reincarnation?
And I felt like when that happened, it spoiled the milk. For all Mitsumi did the whole show. This guy comes in and just and now so melodrama out of nowhere, and who is this guy? This guy, he was all happy and lucky, and next day it's time for dark depression.
Who could forget that Midle bit?
Yeah, it's
she's such an important character.
So it just ruined the rest of the show because it's this guy, and it never really gets off. He's bad to his mom and to his brother, and it's just but I'm learning to be a better person, I guess. It's very kind of jarring. So that's why the like number 5 or
It'd be 5.
5, yeah, I guess. Number 4 would be why Rihanna went to Duke's Mansion. You know, although I do enjoy the character interaction between Rihanna and Noah, I feel like most of that show really didn't really show to me any political aspects until like the very end, and then the whole, like you said, the priest bit, right? You know, that just like what is this? You know, if we're on the priest bit for like 3 episodes, like
Too long.
and just like what, like I felt like they were filling for time. You know what I mean? Like it felt like
Yeah.
And that was my favorite part.
And I'm still surprised when you said. I heard that when he said that. I heard that when I edited, and now hear it again. I still don't believe it. But all right, Ivan.
Yeah, so you know, but you know, and also a budget, but that's not their fault, you know, because the budget constraints, things like that. Okay, now number 3 would be Galaxy Next Door, because they're a little more with the family aspect, of course, and because you don't want to see family aspects, you know, especially in the more modern anime these days, a family aspect. But you know, the fact that the sci-fi stuff is kind of like and it got resolved, and then it just. Well, it petered out because it was more like more misunderstanding, and just like and that was pretty much the only like the ever since something got resolved and we moved on. You know, there was let's see,
Number 2.
Number 2. I'm going to say Oshinoko.
Ooh.
You know, although I do appreciate Oshinoko's I feel like the production value would really make the show sell more, but you know, overall. What's going on? It's kind of like it could be kind of a mess to a lot of people because there's a lot of things going. Like it seems to show like, you know, it requires a lot of thinking. I guess I feel like if you don't really, you know, if you don't understand what's going on, I feel like you're not going to enjoy the show that often. So it's gonna be a little hard for people to understand. I mean, I understand it complete, like for the most part, what's really going by, what the author's really trying to attend to. But it can't if you don't know, like if you don't know or don't really care about like what's going on in the story, you could, you know, you're missing the point of the story. You know what I mean? And then number 1, I think is Insomniacs after school because
good.
It's a fun story. I enjoyed, you know, their Ganta and Isaki's interaction with each other. You know, because it slowly builds over time, kind of building that trust kind of in a bit. And overall, it did a lot better pacing than I think the Galaxy Next Door did of trying to build that relationship up. And I was just like, I just love you because, you know, it's going through episode 3. Okay.
There you go.
I think the manga keeps on going though.
Yeah,
but why?
I have to read.
I'm channeling my inner Frank right now.
I need to read it.
What?
I would never play back last episode,
if
folks.
anything, I would like to read the manga a little bit more because maybe there's some things I'm missing or things that didn't show because the time constraints. Cause I feel there is some moments you feel like we gotta speed this up. We gotta end the show on the certain point.
Alrighty, Frank.
All right.
It's your turn.
All right. Next. I'll make it quick. At 5.
Number 5.
5. Sorry, Miles. Galaxy Next Door.
Well, I mean, I know already.
I just no redeeming qualities for me.
What?
4. Insomniac After School. I think this one's just not for me. Or at least not at the point where I am right now.
So no taste confirmed. Move on.
3 would be why Rayliana ended up at the Duke's Mansion.
You passed the quiz.
Thanks. Basically, I enjoyed this one as I was watching it, and you know, I sometimes have tunnel vision and just block out the bad stuff.
Ignorance is truly bliss.
And then 2, and this was tough because I had a tough time, and ultimately the decision was made today when I went to go get some boba.
Interesting.
As you do.
And I hadn't seen my niece in a long time. They were in Mexico, and she's like, I have a new favorite song. I told her, and I showed her the opening, and she was like, "Oh, I know this song." I was like, "What?" Yeah, it's like I watch it on YouTube all the time, and like I know all these characters too. I'm like, all right, I guess you made my decision. So Skip and Loafer was number 2 for me.
Oh wow,
I enjoyed it. I get what you guys don't like about it, but it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough to bring me down. And Oshinoko obviously number 1. because it's the last one left.
That's how math works.
It's number one because it's the last one.
There you go. And just to be a little serious,
Sure.
like Ray, I do come here to have fun, so I just joke all the time. But I mean, I should know this better because I've coached and I see firsthand how impressionable kids are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I need to be a little more serious about the stuff we can impact others. And I always joke like nobody's listening, but you never know. Somebody might be listening, and I hope that the stuff I say is not taken too like serious. It's more of like I say it for fun.
Right.
But I did find myself thinking when I was watching it, like, oh, this is kind of like a dark part of actual part that happens in the world.
Yeah, Oshinoko, right?
Yeah, Oshinoko, and for me, because I feel like I kind of have like immunity, so it's just like if it doesn't bug me, I feel like it shouldn't bug others. But it's not like that, and yeah, it's just if you need help, get it, and no matter how much I make light of it, like whatever it is, whether you can't sleep, whether you're getting bullied, it's not a shameful thing to say you need help. So it's just I've known you so many years, and I've never known this side of you.
Interesting.
Until now. So it's just like, I mean, like Ivan and I were talking about like next season, and we decided that it's the best thing not to do Kenshin. And it's just like, even though we don't feel as strongly as you, I think it's the respectful thing to do, and it's the right thing to do. So that's it. Those are my 5.
Wow, that was a real moment, Frank. A little touch here. What are we talking about now?
Yeah.
And yeah, you finish it off.
I like this cartoon because it's pretty.
Yeah.
Hey, that sounds like me.
The opening is a banger.
It's a banger, the kids tell me. So yes, for myself, and I thought I won't lie, all this last week I've been thinking about last week's episode, like, where do I rank these shows? Because I was all over the place.
Where's gonna put Miles' show? We're gonna put it in number 5.
We have it all over the place. Like
a little bit at the moment, so I'm curious to do the math once I'm done here. But I'm gonna stick to what I think I came up with, and I'm still pretty satisfied. So number 5 for me would be Skip and Loafer.
Oh my goodness.
I just couldn't get over the optimistic bullshit that the show kept throwing my way, and I just didn't buy it. So that's why I didn't like it. I liked it the least, and that's why number 5.
They didn't take your money.
Pretty much. I'd like my money back, please. Number 4 would be A Galaxy Next Door. I understand everyone's complaints last week, but at the end of the day, I feel like the show sets up and promises, oh, this is just fluff piece, and it's just a fluff piece. So I didn't really get invested or care about it one way or another. Well, Skip and Loafer promise, oh, this is going to be a good show. And then it just fucking falls off a cliff and gives you nothing but headaches. So the disappointment. So that fell off a cliff. Galaxy Next Door didn't change. So that's why it's number 4. Number 3 is a show that I really struggle where to place this. But I'm going to stick with my guns and say Reliana is number 3 for me. I like the story. I like the character. The dialogue is good. God damn, was that animation ugly sometimes.
The dog?
The animation.
Oh.
It was just dang ugly. Just super dang ugly.
Where we just don't pay attention to how Noah walks. And
They did have the always like little glitter, like the dust. So that was cool.
They were, I mean, don't get me wrong, they tried to trick us with the full metals, slip in with the ending. And they did the best they could, but god dang it, they had $10 in the budget. It showed like 80% of the time, it showed every penny they had, they ran out of it. So that's why I have to give it the 3rd place, despite I really like the show. And I would argue that is the show I'm looking the most forward to for season 2. So I will say that about Reliana. Number 2 comes for me is Oshinoko. It throws enough things on the wall that kept my interest. Just like Ivan, I think everyone else suggested. We're curious to see what happens next. I too am following myself, despite I'm sometimes rolling my eyes, sometimes very nervous of, well, what are we gonna do with this segment and this characters? Please don't make it more weirder than it is, and it's weird enough as it is. So that's where it comes in at number 2 for myself. Number 1, yes, I guess I'm playing myself apparently today. I give Insomniacs After School my number 1 choice. I looked at it. I liked it by the first image. I liked it more after watching 2 episodes. It was so good. I didn't have to watch a 3rd episode. I gave
Love
it my
at first sight.
I pretty much, honestly.
And you get to see some nice drawn feet.
Yeah, you know me. I'm a Tarantino fan, so show me them feet. Take off those sandals. Let's see them pretty boys. Yeah. So I was all over that.
I know, like, I was watching a One Piece today, and then you can see, like, the little toenails drawn, but they're, like, all, like, clunky. I don't know why.
We got details in this one. We're not shy about that over here.
So we have a sudden death. Sudden death.
Not the best feet demonstration there.
Well,
so yeah, I liked it. Like I said, realistic drama, and that's why I made my number 1 choice. So now it's time for do the math here of who goes first for the draft.
oh, we're getting points? Like,
We're getting points based off our rankings, and that's who we decide who gets to go first. So let's see here. Someone make noise and entertain the folks.
Wow.
Let's see the good sounds that we have.
I'll get you for this! You won't escape my wrath!
I'm pretty sure that's Miles right now. All right, folks, it's in. I've done the math. Here we go. So after the rankings of this season, with a whopping 5 points, is Miles coming in 4th place for this draft season we're about to do. Hopefully we'll do that quick.
Jock.
Coming in 3rd place with 8 points is Frank with his Reliana.
Oh, that's below average.
Apparently it is.
That's like a bad
And with a
free throw.
1 point difference to separate 1st and 2nd place, it's between me and Ivan. And apparently, Oshinoko wins with 1st place, and I take 2nd with my Insomniacs After School with 14 points for Ivan and 13 points for me.
Once again?
Yeah, where my glow sticks
time?
at?
So, no, I think I moved up a ranking. I switched planes for Frank's.
But then Ivan won last time, yeah?
Ivan, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The only difference is me and Frank switched spots.
Yeah.
And Miles is
I
where,
have
Miles is where it should be.
I'm right where I'm at.
Get very
Don't
comfortable.
worry, we're tanking today.
Perhaps maybe we should take a quick break.
So we're going to take a quick break. And we're back. So now we're going to do our picks for the summer. So since Oshinoko won as the favorite from our group, or I get to
Worst group of all time, just want to confirm.
I get to choose the first draft, and then it will be Ray, followed by Frank, and then lastly Miles. So if one of us chooses a choice that someone else had, they're not able to choose that anime no more. So the rule is we get to we choose 3 animes. We're gonna watch 3 episodes, and then we're gonna come back for a review, and then we'll do our final choice of which is the anime we're all gonna watch of our 3 choices. Okay. So since I get the honors to go first, I am changing it up. So
Ooh.
My first choice is going to be, I'm going to say the English name. The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today.
Son of a bitch.
You wanted that one?
Yeah.
You should have won.
Excuse me as I murder Frank. I'll be right back after these commercial breaks. All right, Frank is dead, so we don't have to worry about him anymore.
Yeah, I thought you guys moved to number 3.
And now apparently I moved up in the ranks, Sakura, and now then Frank has magically disappeared.
I revived as an Idol's kid.
Goddamn, who gave him the Phoenix down?
I feel so bad.
You not yet.
I looked at the list and it caught my eye.
Yeah, that's like...
So I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, now time for a Ray's turn.
Oh, Ivan. Already picking my shows for me. Alrighty, what should I pick? Now I don't know what to pick, because that was going to be my underdog pick. You know what? What should I do? You know what? I'll start with probably the boring, because I don't think no one's going to pick this, so I guess I'm just going to pick and get off, so I lock it in, apparently. I'm going to go for my popular pick of the season. Out of all the shows that was available that wasn't a sequel, I ended up picking Zombie 100 Bucket List of the Dead. Apparently, I remember High School of the Dead. I want this to be the new High School of the Dead. Will it be? I doubt it, because the boob jiggle physics aren't the same as they used to be, kids.
Like some of those...
Wait, you like School of the Dead?
I do in a very weird sense. Yes, I do.
I just watched it because of the opening.
It's a good opening.
Yeah.
So that is my first pick. I'm going to go based off popularity. So now, Frank.
That one looks very interesting, though.
Apparently it's a big, because there's also a live action coming out to Netflix out here like next month too. So there's a lot of money thrown at this property. So that's why it's my popular pick this season.
I know I'm going to watch it because I was looking for it and it's on Netflix.
Yes, I believe that is also true.
All right, I guess I'll go next. Honestly, the stuff I wanted to watch, they're all sequels. So I just went with whatever had pretty pictures and looked more action oriented. So the first one, it's called Undead Girl Murder Farce.
All right, excuse me. I'll be right back after these commercial breaks to kill Frank one more time.
I don't have that many lives.
Not enough mushrooms.
I don't have no idea. I don't really like zombies or undead stuff, but I just wanted a break from, school life. God, I hope it's not zombies in school.
I think the zombie one is gonna. Oh no, actually, it's not. The premise is that he's a worker.
Oh, I honestly didn't read anything about it. I just saw there's a lot of money thrown at this property, so it must be good.
Yeah, so like he's like has like a job he hates, and then when the zombies come, he's like happy because he doesn't have to work anymore.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, so.
So yeah, Miles.
All right, everyone. Okay.
Let's all judge.
And the first round.
Galaxy North Season 2?
No. All right, for me, because I looked for this earlier in spring, so it actually coming out now. My choice is Yohane and the Parthelion, Sunshine in the Mirror. So, okay, so basically it's a Love Live anime, but like it's about what a girl's got like isekai or a different world per se.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
This is an isekai idol show?
Yes, sort of.
Check.
We know what the problem of the industry is.
What is it?
Miles is the problem of the industry.
So, yeah, that's never coming. Wait for this.
Your first pick? Once again, I don't think you understand how the draft works. You kind of want the things that are going to be popular to go first. Things that no one's going to pick, maybe pick last. As I say that, I realize I picked the zombie thing. So maybe...
Yeah,
all right, maybe I deserve that.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
I think you're going to do better this season.
You can't do worse.
It's my Sunrise, so it's, it's the Gunna people, so it can't go too wrong.
Okay.
That's my... Go on, Ivan.
It's your turn. Second round. Here we go.
Second round. So this one is the most excited one from this summer anime season, which is Masamune-kun. Oh my gosh, I butchered
Masamune-kun?
No Revenge R. So we have talked about this if it's an ongoing series. So this one is the second season. So we kind of agreed that's not too much of a hard task. As far as like for example, Bleach, which is like 300 episodes.
That's easy. Have you seen One Piece, Simon?
I'm getting there.
Soon you'll know your pain.
I'm paying for that.
So this series, I chose it because the first season, it's like a harem basically, but comedy, and I think it's funny comedy, and so I am excited. But I did see the first episode that aired, and I was not impressed with the anime. It felt clunky, and I was pretty disappointed, so that's why I moved it down to number 2. So that's why I did end up moving it down. So I wasn't trying to be ruthless.
All right, so it's my turn. So apparently I have to shuffle my cards a little bit here because of someone in the show.
Both of them.
All right, so I guess I have to go with my underdog pick because everyone else took the other two, so I got to go for the next one. I'm gonna take the Gene of AI. Apparently, it is a sci-fi story made by Madhouse, and that's all I had to hear for me to pick it.
Okay, and that's what you're in.
Looks like Astro Boy ? But I don't know how much. By the way, Pluto comes out at the end of the year. Look forward to that.
There you go. Here's Jim's plug-in.
Yeah, good stuff. So that is my second pick. It's the sci-fi, the Gene of AI. Still sounds terrible. I'm going to call it AI from now on. So Frank, it's your turn. What are we picking?
Actually, I don't remember what this looked like at all.
Oh, okay.
All right.
But I wrote it down, so it's all that matters.
That's all that exactly.
It's called Liar Liar. What's it about? Probably about a liar.
Is Sonic in it? Because Jim Carrey's in it? Get it? Because liar, liar. I'm old.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Miles, you're next.
Wow,
I don't, you know what?
I'm pretty sure that's the name of a show. I can't confirm it, but I wrote it down, so I think that'll be an anime this season.
I end my turn. Like, what?
All right, that's one way to do things.
I'm just, you don't have much to say about it. I'm gonna watch it and let you know.
Fair. I look forward to it in the next 2 weeks.
I guess the second one I'll choose Sweet Reincarnation.
Oh, which was this one?
So it's an isekai, which the guy.
2 isekai.
Well, no, the telling one's from another world, not telling isekai.
Alrighty. Things we lied to ourselves.
Another world, perhaps.
Uh-huh.
There's a guy who's a pastry chef who dies and goes to another world and pretty much gonna outbake the competition.
So Food Wars?
Sort of, but like it's like medieval kind of like medieval times.
Medieval Food Wars. Alright.
But he's the pastry chef. I mean, it's uniquely different, at least for me. For these guys, hopefully no fighting or anything weird.
Power Fantasy. Everyone's favorite.
Alright.
Okay, so last pick.
Boy.
I am undecided. So
Shuffling the cards as well.
okay, so I'm just
I should look too.
As he struggles through his phone, yeah.
It's funny because it's only happening to no one else.
Okay, so I feel like I'm kind of torturing myself, but I'm gonna go for it. So I guess I am picking it for a reason because this season I ended up watching The Dangers in My Heart, and it seems that it ended up being one of the most popular animes this season. And when it first started, I was like, I thought it was gonna be just for a very selective few people, but it ended up being more popular. So I guess that's why I'm kind of choosing this one because I think it has kind of the same vibes. So which is the girl I liked forgot her glasses. So
surprised it wasn't sooner, to be honest.
I knew eventually that was gonna happen.
It was either gonna be an Ivan or Miles. I wasn't sure which one.
I was betting onto the end, and I was right. Or I guess wrong.
Yeah, but it kind of gives me that vibe. Like it's those kind of shows, kind of cutesy, and it's either I'm gonna hate it or it's gonna be like, it's alright.
All right. So let's see here. That knocks it down. So let's see here. So I got my sci-fi. I got my zombie. So what do I want my last pick to be? You know what? I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna swing for the fences. I know this is a long shot, but I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna go for Level 1 Demon Lord and the One Room Hero. And the reason I picked the show is because the other show was another romance comedy, probably more serious drama romance. And I kind of want to break from romance, to be honest. So, and this looks like zany, wacky. It's by Silverlink, who does to do wacky, silly things.
It reminds me a lot. I've seen like a picture of it. It reminds me a lot like the Vampire Dies in No Time.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Maybe a little bit like a Devil's a Part-Timer, a little bit. So if we get some of that and a little Bakugan test from Silverlink, it might be a little bit of a ninja sneak peek surprise. Here we go. It might be all right. So hopefully it brings some laughs. So that is going to be my third pick and final pick for this season. So Frank, what are we choosing?
My last one, basically I picked it because, like Ray said, need a break from romance. And it's called Dungeon Meshi. So hopefully it's action oriented.
Hopefully there's a dungeon involved.
Yeah. Hopefully,
there's never break from romance.
What kind of dungeon, though? It never stops. You will fall in love every single day.
Once you start, you can't stop.
I
started 2018, and I haven't stopped ever since.
I've been in love since 2018.
Been in love.
I've been in love with love. Wait,
always
what?
searching.
No.
Always searching.
Searching for feet.
He's in love
for
with
true love. Tarantino fan.
He's in love with I.
He loves the love because her name's I, and in Japanese. Everyone, bring out your textbooks.
Yeah, so I hope one of these three is a banger.
There you go. Fair enough.
And the final
Miles,
choice,
what is it gonna be?
Okay. I like how okay.
Reincarnated as a slime.
Okay, 3 for 3. 3 for 3. Got a lot of money around this one.
I don't like this feeling.
I know.
My tiny senpai.
I had an eye on that one. It was between.
I just lost. I need to call my bookie. I lost a lot of money right now. I'll be back.
I saw that one and I was like, do I choose the glasses one or do I choose my tiny senpai? But I just feel like
get one of
so
them.
Ivan, glasses fetish confirmed. All right.
I guess I felt like the production of the glasses one seems a little higher just from the pictures, but I don't know.
Well, I read the first volume of that one and it was fine. I'm kind of curious what the anime is going to be. But I knew I was going to get that one or this one. And since I haven't got that one, I got this one. So
I don't see it.
It's so tiny.
It's like a...
Hey, got him. Roll credits.
It's like a... like an office.
You know, it's kind of like...
it's like, kind of like...
My senpai's annoying, kind of.
I don't know. I was going to say the one we talked... What's that?
We saw the opening for it. You know, they're like... Oh my God!
I had to do it. I did not use it at all. So
Ivan's been a very good host this episode.
Yeah,
Staying away from you, soundboard.
imagine like
Well, excuse me.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for joining in. So it's been a pleasure, and so next episode we're going to do the reviews, if I'm not mistaken.
What we're doing, I guess, the previews of the show. Previews.
Yeah, preview reviews.
Yes, basically preview reviews of the shows, and then
previews.
preview reviews.
Preview?
There you go.
So once again, we're gonna do we'll watch these 3 series we chose, 3 episodes, and then we're gonna determine which one we like best, and then that's the series that we all have to watch. But thank you for joining us, and later.